8-1, 7-1 on Granger County. That's the horse that Captain Frank's looking for. And Trapezoid.
Thoroughbred Racing is taking vital steps to make our sports safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
Turn your love of racing into savings with equine discounts through the NTRA. Purchase through equine discounts and receive great savings on well-known brands like John Deere, Sherwin-Williams, Big Ass Fans, Farmers Insurance, and Office Depot. Join thousands of other equine members and support companies that give back to the sport we all love. Call 866-678-4289 or visit equinediscounts.com to start saving today.
You just have to get in the seat of a John Deere Gator XUV 835M. Not because of the spacious cargo box.
We're always picking up rocks out in the field, and the hydraulic bed has been really nice.
Or because it can tackle any terrain.
It can handle anything.
Not even because it tows up to 4,000 pounds.
We can pull things around easily.
You just have to get in the seat, because something about being this productive just makes you smile.
It's made life a lot easier.
Learn more at johndeere.com/get-in-the-seat.
Get them all, baby! Open them up! Open them up!
Looking forward to joining up on the live stream. Steve Beck, Rick Hammerly, and Rich Yang coming to you from the Event Center here in Las Vegas, the NHC, the 25th edition. And it has been pretty intriguing. This semifinal, there's not been a tremendous amount of movement in the top 10, but there is a full field heading to the gate at Laurel. The even money favorite in New York, while we were on break, the even money favorite, Antonia Venice, won again, beating 4-5 Mischief Joke. So no real mutuals to speak of to help anybody appreciably. But there could be as we get to Laurel. And Hammer, not a bad NHC for your first time.
This has been fantastic. And to have it come down, really, literally, we're 3 minutes away from the final race that's going to decide who goes to the big table. This has been quite an experience here. When we walked in this morning, we walked down the hallway, feel like walking into the big arena, and that's what this is, just filled with horse players and excitement. Anyone that's never been here, you got to try and play your way here. This is fantastic.
Rich Yang, of course, joining us, and Rich, the longtime columnist, turf writer for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, and the author of Betting on Horse Racing for Dummies, always one of the co-pilots each year here in Las Vegas, a Las Vegas resident for decades. And Rich, I mean, you've won at the Orleans, the World Series, and you certainly understand the ins and outs of what these players are going through as we look for a final decision that'll either send somebody to the final table or, still earn them a very nice prize. I mean, we'll go through the prize list. Everybody that was on the docket, there we go. And there's Rich Resnick, who needs the 9 horse. Everybody is going to win at least $10,000 of these 77 semi-finalists, but there's players that could be winning $50,000, $75,000, and of course the grand prize winner $800,000.
Yeah, this is very much like a PGA golf tournament, like the Masters or something like that. The higher you can finish, the more money you can make. And obviously everybody's goal is to win the darn thing and get the $800,000. So it's really exciting. Every race is just, you get people jumping up and down. And I've told you fellas, I've been here for all 25 of them, and this is the biggest and best one yet. Absolutely.
Well, Seth Morris, for those of you that haven't really followed the 3 days of the event, Seth Morris was your day 2 leader and your leader into the semifinals. $286.78 for Seth Morris. Seth is a bloodstock agent from Rockville Center, New York. Matt Blanchett, who's been a constant presence, but not at the top half of the leaderboard until today. He'd been in the 20s and into the teens and has forged his way to second right now. He's got a live play. Seth Morris does not have a horse in this Laurel race. He's used all 10 of his optional plays. This semifinal, everybody got 10 plays in 23 races. And so in some cases, they've saved them for the last couple. That includes Blanchett, TJ Sunday, who was your day one leader. He's a first-timer. And Matt Blanchett actually is a first-timer. Sunday, 263.30, so he's going to go into the final table with about a 23-point disadvantage. Nicholas Sharilla, 259.80. Scott Cavalieri, 256. These players all are going to be using a selection in this Laurel final opportunity. This is the Laurel 6th, if you're playing along. The cut line, as it were, $250.78. Dennis Tiernan is sitting 10th right now, and that puts him only $4 ahead of Mike Gillum in 11th, Eugene Spruck, Dan Kaplan, Rich Resnick, who was pulled back within striking range in this spot. A couple of the big names that we had tracked all 3 days, Tony Joe, Marshall Graham, Christy Moore, Alexa Zepp, really have not made significant incursions into range. Tony Joe was knocking on the door and has kind of slid back a little.
Well, some of the races are smaller fields and a lot of chalk, and we don't have as many races to choose from. They had to choose out of 23. They had to choose 10. So tough morning to try to make up ground, but there's a lot of double-digit horses in this Laurel. There could be a lot of screaming.
7-5 on the 7. Mine Run, Brittany Russell, and those that are hoping for that kind of a horse. 8-1 Bold Honor. You've got 5-1 on Should Have Been Gone. The 12 horse. How about Verbler 7-2? The 5. Micro Managed 6-1. The 4. Then some bigger prices, including, oh boy, our friend Captain Frank Sorensen, the New York City detective. He's playing a 59-1 shot in here, a cap horse. Just about set for Dave Rodman to bring a decision to this final table.
And they're off. Mine Run got a sharp break on the outside. Prince Fire trying to stoke up early speed. Dreams Delivered sent up there on the inside. So Dreams Delivered has taken the early lead. And Trust is sent up there between horses. And Mine Run back in third of the far outside. Succeed in the speed mix too. In between horses in fourth. And Bold Honor is in fifth. Moonsign. Prince Fire settles at the far outside about 5 lengths from the speed. Oh boy follows that. Then it's a gap back to 1,000 Idols racing back of the pack with Verbier. Second to last and Should Have Been Gone. Trails the field about 14 off that pace. And Trust leads the way with Mine Run on the outside. Mine Run grabs the lead into the far turn run. Bold Honor moves to second on the outside, and Trust back in third. And Prince Fire takes third and takes aim on the pace with 3 furlongs left to go. Another 2. Succeed is next. Then oh boy, Dreams Delivered drops back, and followed by Verbier still racing to the back of the pack with 8,000 Idols Should Have Been Gone. And Moonsign trails the field. They race to the top of the stretch now. Mine Run to beat. Mine Run tries to kick away as they straighten for home, has a length and a half now, a 2-length lead on Bold Honor in second. Prince Fire attempting to hang on to third. Wide open scramble there. In between horses is Verbier to the final furlong, and it is Mine Run ready to roll off time away. Mine Run by 7. Mine Run under Angel Cruz will cruise home. Mine Run by 8 on the line. Photo Verbier maybe over Bold Honor, and then Succeed.
Well, as it happens, the favorite wins this race, and there was not as much drama and as not much noise from the crowd. There was a potential for the 9-1 shot, Bold Honor, which in fact Rich Resnick had played the 9, and I don't know if the place price is going to be good enough if in fact Bold Honor wins this photo for second, and
It's close.
It is close. You had the 4-1 shot. Verbler make up a lot of ground late on the tiring Bold Honor under Andres Chavez, and I don't know. Depends on the angle.
It looks like he held on.
I think he did, but I still don't know if it's going to be enough for.
And that $540 that he might pay, or whatever it's going to be, somewhere around there.
I don't think it's going to be enough for Rich. I think he needed part of the potential $20 total with the win. However, when you talk about finishing, as high as 15th for $25,000, instead of further down, it starts to add up. So now we've got to wait for some final prices, and then a tote board.
Nope, it got nosed out.
Wow, that's a tough photo, because even if it wouldn't have gotten him into the final table, it would have helped his bottom line. Waiting for an update, of course. Now we'll go official, and then there'll also have to be probably about a 20-minute, 25-minute period where they will essentially rubber stamp the standings and make this official, and we'll be able to identify your 10 final table participants. Rick Hammerly with us, Rich Ang, and certainly we can assume with that winner, not much movement. Let's fact.
What did the winner pay? I mean, what did he go off at?
Well, now it is official, but it's up a little too far away for me to be able to tell you. $440 and $3.
So 7 something. If in case in like 11, 12, or 13 had it, could move him in. It looks like our leader Seth Moore is playing a lot of defense today.
More or less. I mean, I think he had 2 or 3 pops. He had an early pop for about $20 that gave him a very nice cushion. And then from that point, he essentially has coasted.
I think it clicked.
Seth Morris, your day 2 leader, is going to go to the final table as the leader by at least $10, make it 11, it looks like. TJ Sunday, Nicholas Sharilla, Scott Cavalieri, Lawrence Calden, Rob Henney, Mike Gillum. Dan Kaplan gets back in. GT Nixon, who started the day 13th and is going to end up, it looks like 10th. He will be the 10th of 10 that make the final table. We'll wait for this to be codified.
But that last, whether they had the place or the win, Mike Gillum and Daniel Kaplan came from 11th, 12th, 13th, and moved into the money position. They're sitting at the big table.
Well, and those that missed, it's got to be a little frustrating. Chuck O'Mara, Dennis Tiernan, Gene Spruck, Rich Resnick, Tony Joe. There's 11, 12, 13, and 14. There were really no bombs. There was not even $20, $25 horses that enabled anybody that was well back to get within reach even. And that has been the Sunday scenario.
But and there weren't even any close races where you had a 20-1 shot that even had a chance. There was a lot of even money stuff. But I'll tell you what, congratulations to this top 10, huh? No matter how they got there, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. I know the cancellation of fairgrounds is a factor because those are an additional 4 or 5 bullets that people had a chance to take a look at anyway.
Yeah, and they're usually competitive races early.
Yes.
But regardless, Seth Morris, congratulations to Seth Morris hanging on the lead. Now, this is a very good example of you love to be on top in that position there. I mean, he was ducking and diving, I think, playing a little defensively, and when all the favorites start coming in, I mean, you're going, yes, right?
And here's Trey Styles joining us, and of course, affectionately known as the clubhouse lawyer.
By you, at least.
Did we finally come up with that? Is that it? The official term?
Yeah, come up
with the clubhouse lawyer.
I think
is that
we're
it?
going with.
I love it.
My marketing director here has come up with that.
Well, Trey Styles is a NHC Hall of Famer and one of the great players, and of course known as one of the Sharpies with Nick Tamaro at SHRP Sam Houston Race Park. You got the weekend off though.
I did. He's been texting me. I think he wants me back. He's kind of lonely there at Sam Houston.
I'm surprised we don't see him here.
Yeah, he was here last year. I think he's a little harder to miss around there. They can't replace him quite as easily as they can.
He's a man of many jobs.
Yeah, he does just about everything. And the track announcers, they're not a dime a dozen. They're hard to come by, but anybody can get up there and do what I do for Sam Houston. So,
Trey, talk a little bit your impressions. We've got this little period here where they're going to basically make this go official and finalize this top 10. What was your impressions of the 3 days and in terms of the kinds of horses and the flow of NHC 24?
I tell you, I like some of the rules changes this year. I like because it kind of went typical with Friday being less prices. The racing's not quite as strong until you get to the weekend. So I really like that they added some took same number of total races, but took some from Friday, added them on to Saturday, which I think makes sense. More playable races on Saturday. And I think it kind of went like it normally does, like kind of, not as many bombs, just kind of trying to tread water on day one. There's always somebody that, we saw that here where somebody kind of had a monster day. But, you just want to stay close after day one. That's my goal every year.
How did your own play go?
I did not stay close after day one. I did all right. I was nowhere near cashing, so I missed out on the first cut to the day. But I tell you, my son was with me this year. It was his first NHC, and it was just awesome being here with him, sharing this because he's seen me do this forever. So I've had one of my funnest NHCs ever, and even though it's by far not one of my most profitable ones, it's been a good time.
Did your wife come?
She's here.
Because you guys love.
We always come.
She love Vegas.
I'm not sure she is as big a fan of this weekend as I am, but she always comes and she's had a good time as well. Yeah, we was counting on you for dinner advice, but we normally count on you for our dinner plans. But I left you alone this year.
I don't ever be shy about that. No reason. No reason to be shy. To give everybody an idea of what is going to be at stake here. $800,000 to the winner later this afternoon in a couple of hours, $250,000 to the runner-up, $200,000 for third, $150,000 for fourth, $125,000 for fifth, then $85,000, $80,000, $75,000, $75,000 each. The 11th slot, $50,000, $40,000, $35,000, $30,000, and so forth. Everybody that made it to today gets at least $10,000 and starts to build coffers. There's a wide variety. Were you a little surprised that some of the most feared players, most notably Tony Joe, had the 2 tickets? He was knocking on the door a couple of different times. It certainly looked poised for an incursion into the top 10. Marshall, one of his entries faded away. The other entry sitting in the 20s. Christy Moore and Alexa Zepp felt like they were in position to make a move. And I'm going to ask you the question that we ask regularly, the 2-ticket scenario, where you see so often players that end up with separating their tickets at whatever juncture and not really helping their overall position.
Yes. It is a dilemma. I mean, I'd prefer to have 2 all day before I'd rather have 1, but my best year when I finished 5th was I had 1 entry, and I could focus all my efforts on that one. And, it's so tempting when you have 2 entries and there's a horse you like, and you say, well, I'm going to put that one on the other one and lay up a little soft on this, my good ticket. And that'll bite you. So it's really hard. When you're playing 2, in my mind, you have to I play it like one's, like I've got 1. And then the other one's just kind of my bombs away if something crazy happens. And if I happen to catch that one, then I flip them. And then that becomes my, reasonable ticket, and then I have my bombs away ticket. But, yeah, it's much less stressful to have 1. When you have 2, you're always worried about that, about getting them mixed up. And Like I don't like Tony had 2 tickets were really well. I haven't seen how he played them. I don't know if you've had him on.
You're actually our first guest that kind of played them differently. Most of the players said same, and then find a way to separate. Not at some point.
Yeah, that's certainly. I can appreciate that strategy. I generally don't, I won't say I don't play the same on anything, but I definitely don't load up and go the same and hope. I try to play one bombs away, and if I can catch one, then I flip them, and I make my other one my. But you just have to be careful to not, if you do that, to not decide. You got to play your first ticket like you only had one ticket, and not try to be conservative with that because you've got this long shot ticket. You got to be true to your guns and play one like you think's the right, just like you would with one. And then I just use my other as my kind of my fail safe to catch a price if one comes along, and then I switch them. Interesting that that most people said they go the same.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's like you said, it's a mental thing. It's just easier on the head to just like you're playing one ticket.
Oh, sure, that could be.
You know what I mean?
Well, if you're confident in your picks, there's obviously a lot of logic to that. If you're, I definitely when there's a race, especially 15-1, I play it on both tickets. Don't get me wrong. Right. But I try to use my extra one to just kind of my protection in case something wacky happens. This year my wacky ticket became my good one quickly, and I never got back to, I caught some price that kind of flip-flopped it for me, but couldn't get him there. I'd be interested to see it. That's why I guess Tony, have you had him on? Did he have?
We have not had a chat. I didn't want to bother anybody with the prelim today.
So you can get him now and kind of see. I'd be interested to hear how he did that. To get 2 that far along is pretty amazing.
It looked like he was playing the
pretty similar
up until probably a certain point.
Looking too, I was going to go to ntra.com, and I wanted to see the. I don't know if they changed. I think they did. How much over the years? What they give a total of earnings? What have you made over the years in the NHC?
I haven't looked at that in a while. I'd guess it's around 6 figure. I mean, I had 75,000 when I came in 5th. So, and I didn't have any. Some of my better years were before they started. It was kind of top heavy. So about 100,000, I'd guess. I'm not looking at it, but and that's not counting tour money. Like I had 30,000 on the tour last year, and this year I had 15 on the tour. But just from here, about 100, I'd guess.
What explain to everybody what methods you use to qualify, what avenues?
Well, I'm in Texas, so I'm limited a little bit on my online play. That's so I can't play all of the live money. So I go, and to be honest, I like going to tracks. It's fun for me. Sure. I like, now I work for myself now, so I don't have a boss. I have to, if I want to go, take off a weekend. So I really like going to tracks in person. And since I can't play a lot of them online, it makes that, I have some sort of justification to the wife that I got to do it, honey. It's the only way I can play.
Business trip.
Yeah, business trip. But so I tried. This year I didn't do that as much because I was double qualified early, and I kind of took off for about 6 months. I didn't play much, going places. But I do those Friday online ones because they're cheap and you can get a lot of points, and they don't. So I thought eventually I found myself a couple of the tournaments I went to live did well, and so then I found myself. I'm like, oh well, if I play a little more, I can get some tour money here. Exactly. It made sense, and I ended up missing 20,000 by one spot in the last weekend. So, but still, 15 makes by the time I got back on, I'm still coming out way ahead. So.
Explain also the handicapping method and the way you approach races generally.
Well, online, talking about contest play, I'll piggyback that. I kind of do my Fridays when I play. If I play 2 entries, I'll do it the same as I do here. I kind of have my regular picks, and then my little protection tickets. And then as far as the individual races, like how I handicap races, I don't know. I get asked that a lot especially by my non-horse racing friends. What do you do? How do you pick them? What's the There's 2. I wouldn't say I'm a pace handicapper, class. I try to look at it all. I really like using a lot of the statistics you can get on Formulator. That's one of my big sources. I like all the ways you can manipulate the data there, especially with first-time starters or horses or trainers trying something new with a horse. I really like to do that. But I wouldn't say that I'm a particular type of handicapper. Try to fold it all in.
Trey, SHRP, give us a little Sam Houston Race Park plug. And
Sam Houston, are they still running there? Are they running there? No, I'm kidding.
Don't say that.
I jest. It's so frustrating, the situation we're in Texas. I'm so happy. I'm proud of Sam Houston. People sometimes I hear the locals getting on us about, the situation there with small pools. And, man, the fact that they were still running at all, to me, with the purses, limited on the handle, simulcast handle. But everything's going great there. And we have a really good racing. It's a shame nobody can see it. It really is good betting races. Every now and then we have a card with a little short fields or whatnot, but for the most part, it's really been really good handicapping races for bettors. We don't have a lot of grade ones and whatnot. We have our day or two, but from a handicapper's perspective, it's good stuff, and I'm really sad that everybody can't see it.
What's the schedule? We got how many weeks left of thoroughbred, and then when does quarters start back?
Yeah, well, the quarters are everywhere, so we will be able to, people can see us there. It ends, I think our big weekend is April 6th. I think it's right. I might be a weekend off. It's about 3 weeks off. We got we're more than halfway through on the home stretch on the thoroughbred meet, and then usually we take 2 weeks off, but this year we take 1 week off. I'm what am I doing? Doing something that week. Wife's got me scheduled, so I don't even get a break. We're going out of town that weekend, and then come back the next weekend, and we're back at it with the quarter horses. Because I tell you, with Sam Houston now we run in the daytime for the thoroughbreds. Normally we run at night, but with only being able to, can't send our signaling, where we appeal to the locals that are on track that are betting, and it's been a little hard on the old work schedule, and I've been, my real job, my day job, been hard this year. So I'm looking forward to the quarter horses where we have the night racing. It fits for a guy that's got another job. It works a little better. I'm looking forward to the quarter horse meet.
Well, and we call him the clubhouse lawyer because he is an attorney, and we are going to develop a TV series like The Defenders and The Bold Ones from years ago, or the Lincoln Lawyer. Exactly, the Lincoln Lawyer. And
I like it. This guy's in charge of my marketing.
I'm telling you, you're going to have legal consult right in the clubhouse. And, all these wild things happen, all the crazies around the racetrack. And
tell me about it. That's got to be a show. I already have people coming by when they say, "Oh, Trey's a lawyer," and then I get the darndest questions. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. But people, situations that their family lives or whatever. Oh, it's a hoot. So I'm getting some groundwork for you to lay these.
We got Drew Mollick on the East Coast and Daryl Vienna on the West Coast.
That's true.
There's plenty of room in the middle there.
Right there. I got the whole middle of the country.
You know what? We should create the Association of Clubhouse Lawyers.
I like it.
And have legal consult from across the coast, from coast to coast.
Why not? We got easy advertising.
Sign me up.
Trey Styles, everybody, and we're going to have Tom Rooney join us from the NTRA, and it's their party, and they work so hard to make this fun. And of course, you and all the players that get familiar with Michelle Ravencraft and Holly Short. And the incredible job that they do to make this happen. Trey Styles.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Enjoyed it.
Always a pleasure. Trey Styles joining us and waiting for the official word. We assume that the 10 players that are in position on the leaderboard, Seth Morris, Matt Blanchett, Nicholas Sharilla, TJ Sunday, Scott Cavalieri, Lawrence Calden, Rob Henney, Mike Gillum, Dan Kaplan, and G.T. Nixon. We assume that they will go official. And Tom Rooney, in about 2 hours, you're going to present everybody I know, including me and my TV partner, Seth Merrow, who I know is watching. One day I want to present one of those giant foam checks. There's no greater image in all of sport and all of the charity giving than the giant cardboard check.
I agree. It's like Happy Gilmore. Somebody asked me one year if they could take it with them. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. But that'd be pretty cool to hang up in your man cave.
Exactly.
$800,000 check.
Well, Tom, there's plenty of moments that involved in this position with the NTRA that are hard work and less than amusing or fun. This, though, goes against that. This is just a joyous celebration of horseplay.
It is, and it really celebrates the lifeblood of our industry, which is the horse player. And something, as I've told you before, near and dear to my heart. My grandfather gave us the American dream because of his ability to do this. But having said that, I think it's important that, our listeners know that we're constantly trying to make it better and more exciting. I mean, not just with the increased prize money, but also, the Sunday tournament. And I was just speaking with somebody a couple minutes ago about how to keep more people here on Sunday, even more than, like last year by this point, this room was half empty.
Yep.
You go from a lot of excitement 2 days ago to, like, you get to the final table, which is exciting, but it's for those 10 people. But to keep here, which was Keith Chamblin's idea, to keep people here on Sunday with an extra tournament, I'd like to be able to figure out a way to keep more people here even than we did this year, by either increasing that prize or making there be a hook from Saturday to Sunday to where people don't leave last night. More hope that they'd still be alive for the final table, going into today. Because there's nothing. I was speaking with Eddie Olczyk, who's hockey analyst, and he said, on that first day when the races were going off, he's like, I felt like I was in an NHL game. After
Sure.
somebody scores a goal, it got that exciting and that loud. And so we need to be able to figure out ways to replicate that through Sunday. So we're going to keep trying to make it better. But the NTRA team with Michelle and Holly, you guys know, and with Keith, just keeps doing an amazing job here. So shout out to them.
Well, I'll tell you, as a first-timer to this event, I'm overwhelmed. I can't believe how you guys pulled this off.
Yeah.
And you've set the stage, but this is what makes the show. Everybody out here.
It does.
Everybody is so cordial. They're so into it. I like it. It's like going to a concert in a small theater. They're here for the music. These guys are here for their own music. It's wonderful.
And they come back with the same people every year, or sit with the same people every year. They're like lifelong friends now. So, no, it's and I was also speaking with other TV personalities about how do we make this TV friendly as far as capturing all these hundreds of people in a room betting on our great sport, and this should be something that a bigger market sees, at least with the final table. So we're always trying to figure out how to make it more appealing and more exciting all the way up until the final race. So we will continue to look for ways to do that.
Tom Rooney joining us as we await the announcement of the official final table participants. Most notably, as we look at the way the field came together going into today, half of this group, 6 of the 10 were in the top 10 when we started the day. Then we had a number of players that came from further back. G.T. Nixon, he started at 14th and gets into position. He comes in 10th, starting the final table. Nicholas Sharilla made up a tremendous amount of ground. He had $207 hammered, Rich, 207, and was sitting 16th, and now is sitting 3rd. And so Sharilla made up more ground than anybody. I think we've got, not yet. All right, we're listening with one ear as Brian Skirka starting to get a feel, right, for about 10 minutes. Sounds good. Nicholas Sharilla was 16th coming in. He's now sitting 3rd. Rob Henney was 33rd starting the day.
Did he make the biggest move?
He 254 from 191, so $63, and Sharilla about the same, actually. Sharilla 60-something as well. So Henney, Sharilla, G.T. Nixon, they knocked some people out. And who is the 10th? Mike, where was Mike Gillum? Mike Gillum we've got to find. Gillum may have been your biggest gainer. Oh my gosh!
He can't be this far back, can he?
Yes, he could. Mike Gillum was 64th starting the day with $180, and he's now 8th. So $73. So Mike Gillum was
that's a big total
winner.
out of the races we
How
had
about that,
today?
Rich? I mean, in a short, in the little time that you had.
Yeah, you know, he made he made lemons into lemonade. That's for darn sure.
Wow. So we'll await the introduction. Tom Rooney with us. And, Tom, we're certainly not going to miss an opportunity to talk about a couple of topics of the day.
Yep.
And could not resist having Alan Foreman on Friday, hours after the legislature in Maryland, Annapolis, moving forward with the project, the Pimlico Plus project. And for the B part of the story, the training center. What I've got to ask you, what are you hearing, and what is the family thoughts on Shamrock Farm being the training center?
Well, some people approached the authority and said that is Shamrock available, and it was one of those things where, being on the authority, I wasn't really comfortable representing Shamrock and also being on the authority. So what I told Greg Cross, the chairman, is I don't want to have anything to do with the training facility other than explaining to my relatives that the state might be interested if it's one of the top 3, and it became one of the top 3 finalists along with Bowie and the Mitchell property. The way that the deed is set up for that property is very antiquated. It's like, something you'd see back in oldie English or something. But, there's a lot of Rooneys on that deed and their heirs. And so trying to get everybody to agree is not as easy as I thought it would be.
So this is almost like the plot of The Descendants.
Absolutely.
In Hawaii, right? With
right. So
you're
George Clooney.
George Clooney
Clearly look like George Clooney.
you're as Irish as Clooney,
right? But so I mean, it's going to be interesting. One of the questions obviously is, do you need to have a majority, or does it need to be unanimous, or can it be a majority that agrees? I'm seeking like a legal opinion on that. So once I have that, I'll be able to go back to the authority and say, hey, we got 51% and that's all we need, or we don't have everybody on board and it needs to be unanimous. So look for another property. But I think it'd be a great legacy for my grandfather, to keep that farm in thoroughbred racing. My dad passed away recently, and my uncles are getting up there. So in any venture in this world, in this country, getting something like that to the third generation is not easy, especially with taxes and everything else. So I'm trying to herd the cats, that half of them don't even know that we own Shamrock Farm, and then their name's on a deed. But there's just a lot of people to try to figure that out. I would like it to happen, but I'm not getting my hopes up until I hear you know what, though, Steve, even if it just does need to be 51%, I don't know that the state of Maryland wants to have minority shareholders in a property that they're running. Like, I don't know what the dynamics of that would be, and what minority rights they'd have. So, Maryland might be like, it has to be all or nothing, and I wouldn't blame them.
In the meantime, though, the news over the last several weeks between Belmont, the plan coming forward, and the new facility, a new Pimlico, Churchill constantly in flux and constantly being improved. In about 5 years, the Triple Crown venues will be centerpiece of American racing, and will have facilities befitting the kind of events that they are.
Right, and I'm sure, as Alan Foreman probably told you, that was not lost on us, on the authority, that being the middle jewel of the Triple Crown, with all the renovations Churchill's done for their 150th this year, what Naira's doing with the Belmont, and the new building there. I mean, we wanted to have something in Maryland too that we're proud of.
Sure.
And so I got to be honest with you, between Alan Foreman and Greg Cross, and the amount of time that we had to get this done by the end of this legislative session, it was nothing short of a miracle. As somebody who spent 10 years in Congress and politics where things move at an absolute snail's pace, you would wait years for something even remotely close to this happening to come to fruition. To get this done inside of a year was a huge, heavy lift. If it wasn't for Alan Foreman and Greg Cross, I really don't know. We had the governor behind us, we had the legislature behind us, which is half the battle. But to get everything else down on paper and then negotiating with the Stronach group something that both sides could agree on without wanting to kill each other was just a minor miracle, I think.
The Maryland miracle. Now the important question that Hammer is waiting for, which is the Steelers. I mean,
you can't let this go by.
This is a Steeler maniac.
Yeah, I mean, we've been far busier at this time of year than I think that I've ever paid attention to us looking for talent from other teams. Maybe this is the wave of the future. I don't want us to turn into the NBA where, superstars are changing teams every other year. But, these were situations where you get Russell Wilson for the league veteran minimum wage, which is $1.2 million. And then, what happened with Justin Fields is I think that the Bears may have waited a little too long, and teams started snatching up QBs, and then he was one that was sort of like looking for somewhere to go, because it's clear now to me that the Bears are going to take Caleb, with the first pick. So that you didn't want to have Caleb and Justin in the locker room together when Justin was a starter there. So, the Omar Khan, our general manager, seized on that, and we basically traded a 6th-round pick to get Justin Fields. So we have 2 starters on our team in that quarterback room. I'm a little bit sad that Mason Rudolph left. I think that Mason still has a lot of upside in this league, but wasn't quite sure that Justin was going to fall to us like he did. And with Russell Wilson coming in, I think he thought that at that point Kenny Pickett was still on the team, that he was going to go back to 3rd-string quarterback, and I don't think Mason wanted to be that. So he left, but I wish him well.
As a lot, me, longtime Steeler fan, kind of wondering what's going on. But I agree with you. The early season movement, preseason movement, this is not normal, and it's great. Getting Queen from the Ravens,
that was huge.
Plugging holes and not waiting for the draft. I think it's great. I'll tell
you you got an NFL star in Patrick Queen. I mean, it's not drafting somebody in the 1st or 2nd round and hoping this guy makes it in the league, because a lot of guys don't. With Patrick Queen, that guy is going to be an absolute beast in the middle, and we've long prided ourselves on having people in that position, but we haven't really had anybody solid since Shazier got hurt. So that to me may have been the biggest signing of free agency.
Bring back the steel curtain, throw him with Minka in there, and then getting rid of maybe a troubling wide receiver. Keep the locker room at a good pace. That was a good move, and I'm never worried about getting receivers. Always have plenty of receivers.
Yeah, and you can get them in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round too.
Right, and
now we got Steve's wondering when we're going to talk about Kenny Pickett going to the Eagles.
No, we've discussed that already.
I think we're happy.
Now he's a good quarterback who just had injury problems, and who knows. He was above 500 in win-losses, and I'd like to see him get a little bigger, but that way he won't, maybe, get some of the injuries that he gets over the years. But you're spoiled when you have somebody like Big Ben for so long, who's impossible to bring down, and then you go to somebody who's a regular-sized human and can get hurt. But
I love it. Tom Rooney's joining us. We're minutes away from introductions for the final table, and I don't see any panic movement up on stage, so I'm guessing that the 10 that look, we're 2 minutes away. The 10 that we anticipated look like they're locked in. Seth Morris, who, of course, you got to know yesterday, the Rockville Center, New York bloodstock agent. Matt Blanchett, and Blanchett from Pearland, Texas.
Is that where he's from?
Pearland, Texas. He qualified on Horseplayers. He's sitting second. This is a first NHC for Matt Blanchett. And then there's TJ as well. TJ actually sitting fourth. I should get Nicholas Sharilla in here, and I got to get some background from Nicholas. But Sharilla is third. TJ Sunday from day one, and you know him from Manasquan, New Jersey, 64-year-old, and he qualified free on NTRA.com, and one of the free contests. It's his first NHC. We then moved down to Scott Cavalieri. Cavalieri's from Attleboro, Mass, 38, also qualified on one of the free NTRA qualifiers. There's usually 5 a season. Pretty amazing. And of course, the Beat Bic contest, that technically is an NTRA. The 6th player, Lawrence Calden from St. Pete, 63-year-old. He had 2 tickets, one from Horseplayers, one from Express Bet. He's a third graph user. Rob Henney, and Rob is from outside of San Diego. He's out in like Rancho something. I know he's from outside of San Diego, and known in racing circles. He's sitting 7th. Mike Gillum, who we mentioned came from way back, 64th to now sitting 8th. Dan Kaplan, a 13-time qualifier, also a Thorograph user, 74-year-old here in Las Vegas, qualified on Horseplayers. And that gets us down to GT Nixon, who was sitting 13th or 14th coming into today, and he makes the final table. During the run here of the 7 races that we're going to play, we'll get a feel from some other players. I hope to get, we'll have Paul Matisse. I think Duke might come up. Duke will be inducted in the Hall of Fame later tonight. We'll get some other personalities that are regular players, and they're assembling the 10 to the side of the final table.
Any of our Chicago people make it?
Rockville Center, we got Manasquan, we got Mass, St. Pete, San Diego. Actually, no, Dennis didn't make it. Pearland, Texas, Vegas.
A couple of unknowns.
And then I've got to look up a couple of the other players to see where they're from. But it was interesting. I mean, some of the biggest names that we've gotten used to just did not make the runs that you anticipate. Which, that shows you how competitive it is.
You could show up here and qualify for their first year and be in the top 5, as a couple of these guys are. So,
amazing.
You don't have to be a seasoned vet.
Well, Tom, before they get on, calling for a couple. I usually, in these gatherings, get a state of the the HISA management and state of the industry since we assembled last. There's still some some things that crop up, but so far, I mean, we're a third of the way into the year. It's been a good year of racing anyway.
Well, knock on wood. I mean, certainly as compared to last year, getting the 150th Derby is going to be very exciting. Hopefully that goes off without any issues. There's going to be some media. Negative media things, as there always are. But, we saw here at the NHC a new organization called Light Up Right for Racing, I think it's called. And, so we have to do a better job as an industry celebrating the parts of our sport that we all love, and that's the animal, the people involved, the people at the track, not just the horse players, but everybody involved. So here's to a good year.
Exactly. Tom Rooney with us as we're going to listen in on the introduction of the final table participants.
Before we start, let's give all 10 a round of applause for making the final table. playing for a lot of money here, so we'll introduce everyone, let them get to handicapping. First, Seth Morris, the day 2 leader, who remains in the lead with 286.78. He qualified on horse tourneys. He's a resident of Rockville Center, New York. He heads to the final table with 286.78. Next, Matthew Blanchett, currently in second place, 275.02. Matthew also qualified on Horseplayers, a resident of Pearland, Texas. Nicholas Sharilla, currently in third place with a score of 267.20. Nicholas qualified at Hawthorne and is a resident of Sylmar, California. Let's hear it for Nick. Day 1 leader TJ Sunday, currently in fourth place as we start the final table. TJ has a 2-day total, 3-day total so far of 263.30. He qualified on one of the free contests on NTRA and is a resident of Manasquan, New Jersey. Scott Cavallari, currently in fifth place with a total of 256.72. Scott is a bartender from Attleboro, Massachusetts. Next in sixth place is Lawrence Calden with a total of 255.26. Lawrence qualified on Horseplayers and Express Bet and lives in St. Petersburg, Florida. Rob Henney is currently in seventh place as we head to the final table. Henney has a total of 254.74. He qualified on Horseplayers and is a resident of Temecula, California. Mike Gillum, currently in eighth place with a total of 253.60. He qualified at Horseshoe, Indianapolis and lives in Indianapolis. Daniel Kaplan is in the ninth position, 252.58. A resident of Austin, Texas, qualified online at horseplayers.com. And rounding out the final table is GT Nixon with a total of 252.56. An online qualifier on Horseplayers and Horse Tourneys, a resident of Port Jervis, New York. That is our final table. The first mandatory race is Laurel Race 8. It goes off in 16 minutes. Best of luck to all our competitors. They'll be making their wagers at the designated windows. We ask that you please get your bets in around 3 or 4 minutes before the race. Then we'll ask the final table participants to stand in front and all watch the mandatory races together. These races also are mandatory for the Silver Sunday contest. One more round of applause for the top 10 on the final table. Now everyone can get to handicapping. Best of luck.
Well, there you go. There's your final table, and as anticipated, no problems, no issues. They go official. Headset. The first race that we're going to start to look at, and let's reach for the 7 races. For those of you that are watching on NTRA.com, the little further down the scroll, you'll see the races that are being utilized for the final table. And Laurel 8th is going to be the first. This is a optional claimer. Mile and a 16th. And you can scratch the 2. Bodie's Maker, Horacio De Paz, came out of this. And let's take a look, get a first glance. Looking up at the board, you got an even money favorite on the outside, Bob Marco, Kieran McGee. And then there's an entry, 7-2 entry for Jamie Ness, as well as 7-2 co-second choice, the 4, Be Better, who scratched, I believe, from yesterday, and opt for this spot. Brittany Russell with husband Sheldon. Rich, what do you got?
Tough to beat. She's been quite a dynamo in the last couple of years. But as far as trying to find a little more of a price, put a little more meat on the bone, I went with the 6 horse Vance Scholars. Horse ran last time off a long layoff, and quite frankly, this ran kind of an even race in the Campbell. But a lot of times I like the second start off the layoff. This horse should be a lot tighter, and this horse is a big, big price, boys.
It is. There's no doubt about it. Just a quick rundown of the 7 races. There's 5 long, 2 short, 4 dirt, 3 turf. They've really spread that out. No stake races. There's 3 allowance races, 3 claimers, and a starter. So a little bit of everything in here as far as you can go.
It's supposed to be a test.
It really is. And like Rich said, so there's 5 horses in here from the Campbell, from the John Campbell. I watched the replay of that last night, and Bob Marco tried to do his deal and run off, and he didn't quite make it last time. Now he didn't go as fast as he can, and he's obviously going to try that again. And every time we see races from 5 horses from one race, we try to find another, like a goofball horse that hasn't been in there. I don't know who that could be, but he's going to be tough to beat. And look, what did I have landed on the same horse, on Van Scholars. I followed him. I watched the race. It wasn't that these horses were really making up ground. It was that Bob was kind of going back. But I like your angle on the second start back, and I like him as a bomb. Jamie Ness has the horse, eldest son, in here, and he's maybe the horse to look at that coming, not that was in the Campbell. And sometimes the goofball horse that I call him, outsider, has a shot. So I think there's some possibilities here. Bob Marco is going to be probably I can't see the price up there now, but he has every right to do it, but I don't see too many people jumping on him. Do you?
On the even money favorite, well, we'll talk about the board in a minute, but I did not want to let things get too far afield and too far away without Joel Hansen joining us for a very big congratulations. Was in the hunt, came into the day, I think, sitting 29th, Blaine, Minnesota, first-time qualifier, and
Yes,
talk about your experience.
It's been a whirlwind, actually. You know, I qualified a week ago for the first seat. Came in Thursday morning, qualified for a second seat, and I just got lucky, honestly. I mean, I was hot Thursday, Friday, Saturday, made the final 77, and it's been a great experience. It's been fun.
Well, you were sitting over here with Bill Schenvert and with the champ, Michael Belichick.
My great mentors, yes.
Well, and of course the Schenverts are as good a father and son, or just 2 players with the same last name, that they're in this room. And of course, one of them's at sea.
Missing Brian. Yep, he's out on a ship somewhere down in the Caribbean.
What do you do?
I'm an independent distributor for Pepperidge Farm.
Oh, how about that?
Yep. I sell goldfish.
We love it.
I like the stacks. Yep.
That's so great.
So yeah, I'm a rookie. I just I haven't even been doing this for a year. So this is my second tournament ever. So it's been a
well. That's inspired. I knew you were a first timer. I didn't realize you were that much of a novice to the game.
Yes, I am.
And
been doing this less than a year.
And what have you gravitated to in terms of instruction and understanding and learning the game?
I use an app online. That's helped me quite a bit for being new to doing this. So it's I don't know.
It just and the game. How did you get interested?
Actually, through Bill, the Chenverts. I'm just being friends with them. I ended up going to Canterbury in Minnesota. Played a little tournament there, and I've been hooked ever since.
How about that? That's great. And how old are you?
49.
So you really had no...
before that, before last summer, I've been to a track maybe twice in my life.
Amazing.
So, yeah, now I'm hooked.
Well,
join the club.
Yeah, right.
Exactly right. Unbelievable. Joel, I'm glad that
Beginner's
they convinced
luck.
you. No,
Beginner's luck.
It's more than that. I mean, obviously, when you have that many repeated successes, and yes, getting hot is part of it, but that you obviously have an aptitude for it.
Yeah, that helped quite a bit for being a beginner. So picking out horses, yeah, it was a fun weekend.
And you got the right shirt on today too.
You went all out for St. Patrick's Day. Joel Hansen from Blaine, Minnesota, and What new flavors are coming from the goldfish?
Well, we just came out with one actually. It's the new goldfish crisps. So they just came out a couple weeks ago. So they're in the stores now. It's just a new flavor of goldfish, but they're more intended for like adults. It's light, crispy. They taste different, but I think they're better than the regular goldfish. So.
Same handy package.
Yes.
Open it, get that hand right in there.
I would like to see the Christmas Milanos year-round.
Right? Me too.
Right?
I know.
All right, we'll talk to Mrs. Weber about that.
We'll
see. We'll see if Charlotte can maybe influence it. Joel, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Joel Hansen, who I knew from Michael Bacek and from the Shenverts that was new to the game, and what a great success story. Well done. I love it. We're 8 minutes away from the opener, the first of the final table races. And Rich, give us some thoughts about the prices. You've got a 4-1 entry, 7-2 second choice, the 4-5 favorite. What is everybody looking to do in here? Essentially, to move up the leaderboard, we've got a group of players 5 through 10 that are separated by $4. We've got 2 players, TJ Sunday and Nick Sharilla, who are in the 60s. Matt Blanchett, 75, 286 for Seth Morris. What is the thinking for everybody?
I'm really glad you asked me, because in the past few years I've had an opportunity to have 2 very good friends make the final table. Louis Filoso a few years ago and Kenny Jordan recently.
That's right.
And being able to actually sit with them and just listen to them, try to talk through how they're going to attack this. The early races, the early legs, you definitely just have to, try to find points. You have to find the winner. You don't necessarily have to get greedy because it's still early. And if you can just get the winner, even if it's $10 versus $12, you're going to take that horse. But later on, if things don't work out, the last few bullets, then you have to really try to make something happen.
It makes sense with the relatively small top to bottom difference. Picking winners early.
Picking winners right now,
is the way. It seemed to be the way to go.
Because every leg obviously is important. If you just keep picking the winners, no one's going to gain on you.
Well, it's a defensive play as well. Picking winners is never a bad thing, especially here.
Yeah.
Well, and to be honest, the even money favorite, when you look at Bob Marco, I mean, from a FIG standpoint, he misfired. There's no other way to describe it.
I mean, he was out there.
John Campbell.
They were all chasing him, and he came back to the field.
He dropped anchor.
There's no doubt about it.
It was not a fast pace either.
That's what I said. He's gone a lot faster, and maybe that's what he needs to do is go fast early and run the rest of them off their feet trying to catch him.
Well, there's also the case to be made that the race 2 back, the win in the slop, there's a little bit of a regression potential from that. He could be feeling the effects of those 2 big, more than 2. He won 4 straight with the race in January 28th. I mean, from a FIG standpoint, it's an effort that he regressed from. So the case could be made that you're going to wait until he gets back to a good race and be against him. 4-5 is really overly aggressive on him. And even if you go ahead and take either of the 2 4-1s, the entry or the Brittany Russell at 4-1, what about the 7 in here? Take a look at Martini Martin, Carlos Mencia, and Angel Cruz.
Just like I said, a hard watch. If you watch that replay, they all kind of moved up as a group, and it's hard to take anything out of that. But going back a couple races, the race at Philly or Parks, puts them there. I don't know. I'm jumping on Rich's bandwagon with the Vance Scholars with the second off the layoff. He was a little bit closer than some of those in the closing parts of the Campbell, but
with Vance Scholars, I'm just trying to project some improvement off the second start off the layoff, and it just kind of ran evenly last time. It wasn't a real big effort, but he's got some back numbers that can really upset this group.
That's what intrigued me. But the Jamie Ness entry at 4-1, right? They both of them have some numbers in here. The 1A Yodelay Who has a good, 2 races back. It was in the mud, but another one out of that Campbell.
Well, 6 horses exiting the
6
Campbell,
now.
and
crazy.
There's nobody to necessarily
get in Bob's way, right?
Yeah, I mean it's not. There's not an obvious candidate coming out of this, and I think the other thing that's evident there is. Bob Marco's got a pace advantage here too. I mean, he's not going to see much pressure. I suppose that Michael Sanchez with eldest son, coming off the layoff too, eldest son, might be a little aggressive, but I just don't think he's got the speed. Outlier, the Ray Ginter, the built right candidate. Bob Marco, if he runs his race, he's tough to beat.
Yes.
Well, the angle with Jamie Ness, might he send one of them to go right after Bob Marco and set up for the other half of the entry?
For Yodel AU. Ain't the Beer Cold is a horse that we got pretty familiar with, has not won now in a long time. Tough to get excited about him in this spot.
I'll be very interested after this race is over to see what some of these players took.
Chris Larmy, another Hall of Famer. Trey Styles started the conversations, and here's Chris. And 2 minutes now, 2 minutes to the Laurel. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a great final table. I mean, we've got a nice, tight leaderboard, which is what we want to see.
It is tight, isn't it? I mean, from 252 to 286. Matt Blanchett's last couple of plays that got him within $11 of Seth Morris. Then Sharilla and Sunday in the 60s, they're within $25 too, $24. And then there's this big group of 250 and change. How do they approach this?
It depends on what their opinions are, but I would think that they want to cash some tickets, right? But I think the more aggressive players will be aggressive right from the start.
Who would you play here?
Well,
depending on where you'd be on the board.
If I wanted to be really aggressive, I would go with the 8 horse. I think it's a live long shot in here. So, and that could put you right in the lead right after the first race. So,
well, and that's Outlier, the Ginter, and we actually were talking about him a little bit because you got all these horses coming out of the John B. Campbell, and it might be right to be looking at a horse that wasn't involved there.
Yeah, when you want a long shot, you want someone that's
a stranger,
right? And someone where you really don't know, right? You haven't had the answer yet to the question, so may not be good enough. But that's the kind of horse if you're being aggressive. But on this odds board, where 7-2 is the lowest, 3-1 now. You even have the favorite in here. That's a pretty good cash, and that would move you up the leaderboard, pretty nicely.
That's what I was just talking about. It'd be interesting to see if indeed Bob wins the race here, how many people push the button on him.
So, and you will see when the gates open. When you see the gates open, we will have a graphic that'll be on the screen that'll show the selection of each of the players.
Yeah, and I think they're going to play the horses they like in here because they'll get a decent price on everything. And I think because it's a competitive race, they might be all over the board here, which is kind of neat. I mean, it'll hopefully be spread out, not all on the same horses.
How familiar are you familiar with many of these at all? These guys?
Well, Lawrence Collin and Dan Kaplan, I know those guys, not real well, but I'm not really on close terms with any of these guys. The guys that I know really well were all in the hunt, but
it was strange, right? That there were a number of players that you would have thought, if you had to lay of odds, you would have liked them, and none of them were able to advance.
Yeah, it was kind of tough morning to make a big move, but we're going to get it started here quickly. This will be fun.
Dave Rodman moving them in the gate.
So will the viewers on the live stream see the...
Yes, they will.
Okay, so you'll be able to see the picks, which is really cool. You'll know what the players each have as soon as the race, gates open up.
couple more to load. Currently, Bob Marco still at 4-5. 3-1 on Be Better. The Russell and the entry's up. The entry's up to 9-2.
Yeah, I would imagine we'll see several of the players go that direction.
Sure.
Get 2 for the price of 1, and a pretty good price on 9-2.
Marco to load, as well as Yodel EU. And we will be underway with the final table plus the first race of the silver contest.
Well, first mandatory.
First mandatory. Turn it over to Dave Rodman at Laurel Park.
In again. Set. And they're off. Very fast as eldest son out of the starting gate. Outlier on the outside as they push into the first turn run. And Bob Marco has to be on the chase. He's on the far outside, racing in 6th position early. And Ain't to Beer Cold has come up to grab the lead. So Ain't to Beer Cold, Bob Marco rushes up. Outlier had to check and steady there. Eldest son racing 3rd position as Outlier is back in 4th after trouble. That's Mr. Mo is racing in 5th. Advanced Scholars is next. Another 5 lengths back. Martini Martin racing back in the pack would be better. And trailing the field is Yodeli Hoo. A race now with 5.5 furlongs left to go, and Bob Marco flashing that speed with a 2.5 length advantage. Ain't to Beer Cold is the closest one in 2nd. Eldest son just 3rd. Outlier travels in 4th in a gap of 6 more lengths. Vance Scholars, that's Mr. Mo racing side by side. They're a good dozen, maybe 13 lengths off that leader. Martini Martin, Yodeli Hoo, and Be Better trails the field. Bob Marco, the one to catch still into the far turn run from Ain't to Beer Cold. Bob Marco by 2.5. Ain't to Beer Cold, eldest son, 3rd. Outlier is 4th. Van Scholars fully ridden in 5th. The others really have to roll now as Bob Marco's midway on the final turn with a 3-length advantage from the driven Ain't to Beer Cold, eldest son, 3rd. Outlier is in 4th. Be Better trying to whip up a rally in the far outside. Be Better has moved 5th and wide past the quarter pole. Be Better extreme outside, trying to get interested for the final 3/16 of a mile. Bob Marco's the leader. Van Scholars got a good run down to the inside too. Here comes Van Scholars with a nifty move down to the inside. Extreme outside, Be Better. Does Be Better outside, the inside, Van Scholars. They've collared Bob Marco. Be Better, Van Scholars reaching down to the inside. It's Be Better. Be Better to take it. Be Better by 2.5 from Van Scholars 2nd. Bob Marco 3rd. Ain't to Beer Cold finish 4th.
Winning selection from Mike Gillum and Daniel Kaplan. They'll be moving up. A 2nd place finish for current leader Seth Morris. He'll be adding to his lead.
Wow, that is a terrific. That's a terrific pick by Seth Morris, who's going to get the place price on the 15-1 shot. Right, 15-1 on Van Scholars, yeah. I think.
Yes.
All right, 5-2 winner, and that is going to move Mike Gillum and Dan Kaplan up. They will end up probably 5th and 6th, and Seth Morris is going to extend his lead probably by what, $10, $12?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to say what the place price will be, but I mean,
place price should be good.
It should be good
with the even money.
Yeah,
favorite.
he might actually make
the entry out.
Yeah, he
That's
make
right.
more. Well. Right, he might make more on the place price than the winners got.
How about
on the
that?
Place.
How about that?
Yeah, that shows you the power of those price horses that run 2nd in this format. And that was a classic pace meltdown there. They gapped out, and then they hit the wall, and then the closers came running.
It was almost like a replay of the last race when he just fell apart. He may need a little breather, old Bob. he's a runner.
Because there was no doubt that the last was a reaction. The Campbell was a reaction to the slop win. It's going to be a classic O2X pattern.
Yeah, Steve, you nailed it with the favorite. He's going the wrong direction.
Yep.
So,
well, terrific. That's a great point, Chris. That Van Scholars, that place price, it may be better.
Oh, sure.
Even than the winner. That's a Rapoli runner for Brittany Russell and husband Sheldon. Van Scholars, the 5-pound bug, Tori Alba. We're going to look ahead. Let's, while we wait for the prices to go official, look to our next mandatory. We'll take a break after that, after the next mandatory. We're looking for the
Gulfstream.
Gulfstream.
8th race.
Yeah.
Prices are up. A little short on the place price, $840.
Only $840. I was thinking 10 or better. $720 and $360. So $10.80 will be added to Kaplan and Gillum when the board updates, and $840. So that'll put Seth Morris. He'll start to knock on the door at $300. Looking at.
What I liked about that play is he's not sitting on the lead. He was really aggressive right out of the gate.
Putting the gas on.
15-1 shot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think if we get Duke over here later, he would. That was always when people would ask him, he would say, "Keep the pedal."
Keep the pedal down, no doubt about it.
But it's easy to say that when we're sitting here.
Oh, sure it
it's
is.
harder to say that when you're on top of the leaderboard and trying to win $800,000.
Absolutely, believe me, of course it is.
And Chris, what is this? What have the second, third, fourth, fifth place finishers, final table players, all utilized? They all utilized the entry. I think with the numbers of, here we go. Mike Gillum moves up to 4th. Dan Kaplan moves to 5th. And that'll push down Sunday. Cavalieri, Calden, Henny, and Nixon. Nixon was already sitting 10th. But the 8th and 9th place finishers going into final table, they move up to 4th and 5th. And Seth Morris now sitting with 295.18.
Yeah, that was a great start for him. It was just about as good as you could hope. None of the people right behind him hit it, and he moved. He made an advance. So I think that 840 is a little disappointing as a place price, though. Yeah. But still, it moves him ahead. Now he's all $20 clear of second.
$20 and change.
Keep on trucking for Seth Morris.
So
what's up next here?
It's the Tampa 9th.
I was going to say, I didn't think I knew it was closer in timing. Let's pull that out. How are you doing in the silver contest, Chris?
Not great, but I had the 6 horse, so I made
stick bike.
Not great.
6 in the last race here?
Yeah, I had the 6 horse in the contest. But I'm not threatening right now. I'll have to get red hot.
The Tampa 9th, and we're about 6-7 minutes, right? Or a little bit more, 10 minutes. Let's start looking. Rich, what do you like here? This is a starter allowance. They're going to go a mile on the grass. You can scratch the 3 and the 9.
Well, I was happy to see my horse run second in the last race, but I went for more of a chalky type horse in this race. The 7 Journeyman kind of jumps off the page at me. I like all those races down at Woodbine on the Tapeta, and now they're running on turf. But the last 2 races right there, so let's see if we can get the 7 horse Journeyman home.
We must be reading the same book. I had the 7, and then the 9 horse scratch. I was sorry to hear about that. Looking for a price in here, but I couldn't find one. Journeyman, that's Michael Wright, and that's Michael Wright. He used to train up in Canada many years ago and run horses down at the Meadowlands. Knows how to win races, and I think Journeyman's the most consistent of the bunch in here. On the other hand, for looking for something, which we always are. Oh, Gregory Sacco, you scratched the other half. This it can be done.
Yep.
From Greg Sacco, who came back. He's 7-1, honest sort. Most of these horses I've noticed, they're right in this condition. There's not a whole lot of droppers, not a lot of change. And if he gets the right trip here with Jose Ferrer, it can be done. I would take a look at him at the price.
I thought that it can be done was an option too for player price, 7-1 there. There's also 6-1 on the Mike Denny horse, Be Here, and Be Here 9-2 morning line, and currently sitting at 6-1. 8-5 on Journeyman, your favorite. And, of course, the 2 scratches, the 3 King of Hollywood and the 9 Ronstadt, they were 30-1 and 8-1 respectively. So, I mean, I'm somewhere between those two. You certainly Be Here's got a race. If I go back to, is it Be Here or was it? No, It Can Be Done's got that race, Rick, that caught my eye too. Yeah. That race at Delaware, that from a fig standpoint, he's third off the layoff in here with Jose Ferrer and Sacco. I mean, that race would be competitive with, or more with Journeyman, but Journeyman's clearly the horse to beat. Be Here is a horse, the 6-year-old gelding. Don't know if there's any improvement to expect in a horse like that, and so you're kind of looking for somebody that, that can maybe run something that is in the recent past.
Yeah, if I was going to offer a second horse with a little more meat on the bones, how about the 2-horse QF 75? Just got claimed by Ron Potts, but this horse ran a different style of race last time. I know the pace was real fast, but this horse was able to sit back there and relax and actually finish. This horse, if you take a look at the resume, doesn't usually pass horses in the stretch, so he did something that he doesn't normally do. And running for the 25 and getting claimed by Ron Potts, now he's eligible for the starter allowance 25. So this is an interesting group that he's now mixed in with.
And if you notice, they dropped him down. He went off at 4-5 last time, and he beat the non-winners at 3, which is a little bit lower. But he did it. He came on and did it. So if you're looking for him to win 2 in a row, I can't knock it.
Yeah.
Right, it's a mid-range. I don't see. There's not a whole lot of big prices in here. There's a 13 and an 18.
Well, the 13-1 Desert Ruler from the rail, Chelsea Moisey, and this is a Candy Ride gelding that's tried the turf just one time far back in the PPs. This is a horse that wins and a horse that cashes checks and has also got some tactical speed. And it's a little interesting. It was a $20,000 claim. Immediately won an optional claimer. And, if this one can handle the grass at all, I think is competitive at 13-1.
Yeah, you're always looking on long shots like this for something that's new, a change, and sometimes they don't pan out, but sometimes they do.
Right.
Well, it's interesting. Rich brought it up earlier. It was claimed for 20, and first time the horse actually went in for a tag, Chelsea dropped in there and claimed it, which now makes this horse for the rest of the year eligible for these $25,000 starters. And you don't see too many $25,000 starters going 3/4 on the dirt. So she's going to try it back on the turf, and if she fits this in condition, she's got a nice horse for the rest of the year.
You sound like a racing secretary with that analysis.
We've seen some of these play out, but you like you said, you like to change, and then when you're looking for a long shot, that's what you're looking for.
Right, you're looking for a change.
Well, and for those that want to just use simple, look at the straightforward DRF trainer stats. She's 23% dirt to turf, and she's 22% sprint to route. If you're a formulator user, you jump to formulator and you go to look and see how often has she gone dirt to turf, stretching out. And we got a minute
and the rail, and a price. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see some of the people on that on the leaderboard there, the top in the final table, go that direction because. In these kind of contests, players are looking for prices, and one of the ways you find it is a change. Sometimes they don't work, and you look silly, but, hopefully sometimes they do, and that's when you can hit a 14-1 shot.
At what point, Chris, in the scheme of things, here's the prize money. At what point along the way here do you just try to begin to position yourself? You realize you're not going to get a 6-figure win, and you just want to maybe chip away and see if you can't incrementally, pick off 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, and just, get the best amount of prize money possible.
Well, I can't speak for everybody, but when you look at this prize pool and you see 800,000 at the top, 250,000 per second, I'm shooting for the 800,000.
No matter what.
And how many times do you have a chance at the final table at $800,000? So it wouldn't be till the very end where I just don't have any chance at all that I would be thinking second, third, fourth, or fifth. Now, others may think differently, but for me, they're still shooting for the win. That doesn't mean they're going for bombs or anything because it's a pretty tight leaderboard and there's still 6 races to go. But, I'd be thinking about, moving up to position so at that last race I have a chance to win it all.
Especially one race into this, right? At this point.
What's that?
I said one race into it. You're still
right. There's
you're
all
still going
kinds
for the
of,
top.
Yeah, you had 6 bullets in the chamber still. So, I'm definitely thinking for the top, towards the top.
And at some point later on, with a couple left, you're going to lay out.
Yeah. If you're like hopelessly behind, it's in 8th or 9th, you might start thinking that. But right now, even the person in 10th place, one good price, and they're right in, and they're still in contention. But I mean, they're right there in the top 2 or 3. So, I think they're just playing the horses they like. They're looking for horses that might have a potential to move them up substantially. One horse you haven't mentioned I do like is the 4 in here. I don't have any of my notes, so I'm kind of at a disadvantage. But I thought that, the 4 horse, Epic Luck, he's sort of this progressive, improving horse since he, in the last few races. He's just the kind of horse that keeps getting better with every start. I'm not sure he's going to get the tripping needs, but if somehow he could trip out in here, that horse is an improving sort that, again, could run those odds. I don't know if it could win, but, the place points, probably a big price, could be interesting.
Yeah, I just noticed the rail's out 22 feet.
26 to 1.
26 to 1. So you get you get $22 if the horse runs second.
I quickly...
Which, judging by our comments, is it could be a pretty wide open race here. And a lot of chances.
And I think the one you brought up is a very interesting price horse, too.
Well, I pulled up Formulator very quickly, got Chelsea Moisey's numbers. She's 2 for 12 when she goes dirt to turf and stretches out, sprint to route. And she actually has got a positive ROI doing it.
Yeah, and she's done it before, and this horse looks like it, if it handles all the changes, it has some talent, and it has a good post. So,
Candy Ride, certainly eligible to run all right. They only ran once on the turf prior. Looking at the numbers, Desert Ruler, the 1 we're just talking about, 15 to 1. QP 75 to 2 from Ron Potts. Off the claim, 5 to 1. Epic Luck that Chris Larmy has got an inkling. 26 to 1. Be Here, we talked about 5 to 1 from Mike Dinney. Seth Merrow certainly betting that one. Irwani, an Argentinian for Jose D'Angelo, 5 to 2. Third choice, actually second choice. Journeyman, the favorite, absolutely the horse to beat. From Michael Wright with Charlie Marquez. It Can Be Done, 7 to 1. And the 10, Guaranteed Spec, 7 to 1 for Tony Russo and Sammy Camacho, a Caracantai 5-year-old that's an entire horse.
They're still on the dirt course, so we got a few more minutes.
Right. Chris Larmy is joining us. Rick Hammerly, Rich Eng, as always. We're coming to you from Final Table action here at Horseshoe Vegas. Been an interesting NHC. They're always different, but at the same time, they always have got similar themes. A lot of fresh faces, which is nice on this final table.
Yeah, people I'm not real familiar with, to be honest, and I know a lot of the players. So, yeah, well, that's one thing great about this event is, it takes some skill, but there's a lot of chance associated with it, and anybody who walks through that ballroom, even first time here at the NHC, has a shot if they have a good weekend. And you can see that probably in this leaderboard. And we've seen first-time NHC players win the NHC. So,
absolutely.
Just need to have that. Needs to be your day.
Yeah, it has to be your weekend.
Your weekend. But you're a good call here. Yeah, this is.
Marshall Graham will tell you need more than one good day this year.
Well, and that's what's been so impressive about TJ Sunday's performance. And now, not just TJ's. I mean, we're going to have to get a little bit of a backstory about Matt Blanchett. Although I did hear from Nick Tamaro, who tells me that he, while a Texas resident, and he is a regular at SHRP. So actually, I'm surprised. I'm surprised the Trey didn't catch up his name.
Yeah, I mean, you do need to string together a few good days. Usually you have like one good day and a couple pretty good days to get there. But you said sometimes And some people, just like Ray Orsino one year, just had a crazy year where he got red hot and just stayed hot all the way through the final table.
Exactly. Well, somebody asked me yesterday or Friday about wire-to-wire winners, and Jose Arias, I remember, right? Jose got an early lead and never looked back.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's a great, if you can stay hot. And that's where, mentally you stay aggressive. You can't, sit on your lead.
Well, the mental pressure sitting there, and it's easy, like you just said, Chris, sitting here talking about it, but to push the button on a 20-to-1 shot is a lot easier for us to talk about than it is to send it in.
That's right.
When the money's on the line. And
yes.
the money, go over this money here. The number 10 is going to walk home with $65,000. I mean, that's a pretty good payday, but as we're talking about some of the other minor awards that they might be trying to look up the board for, $150 for fourth. So, not a bad target if you're down there.
The top spot is great, and then and then second and third and fourth, and then it starts to drop off. So, I do think what you asked will come into people's minds maybe the last race or two if they start to fall back. But right now, I would have to think they're still thinking they can win it, and they're going to play it that way.
Everybody trying to fire, and second of 7 final table races, getting ready to send it to Jason Beam in Oldsmar. Favorite 9-5, Journeyman the 7. Watch for the 6, Irwani. 5-2, second choice. 5-1 on the 8. It can be done.
Yeah, I'll be real interested to see if anybody's on the 1 or 4 on there, because that'll give us a sense for what the way they're thinking.
Their mindset.
Watch for the picture-in-picture. Just about set. Here's Jason.
Go, Jason.
As we just await guaranteed specs, Sammy Camacho. Don't forget, 1 week from today, Florida Cup Day, as we celebrate the Florida bread here. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Epic Luck got pitched back at the start. It can be done, showing good early speed. Irwani, Be Here, down on the inside, Desert Ruler. Those 4 across the course as they go toward that first turn. It can be done. Jose Ferrer wants to be on the lead. He's now a half length in front of Be Here in the second position. Desert Ruler up the inside third. Then comes Irwani fourth. Guaranteed Spec out 4 deep from that fifth spot. Oh, some traffic there. Be Here, Irwani, and Guaranteed Spec all did a little heel clip in there going into that first turn. Meanwhile, Journeyman went inside of some of those runners and made up some ground to get just 2.5 off the leader. It's then a space of 5 more back to Epic Luck and QF 75. They head up the back stretch. It can be done just in front of Guaranteed Spec, who had a rough trip on that first turn, but now finds a good spot second. Irwani is third. 2 more back to Be Here. Desert Ruler, the other gray, is toward the inside in fifth. Journeyman moves up to that one's outside. 3.5 more back to Epic Luck and the trailer QF 75. 45 seconds for an opening half-mile time. It can be done. 3 furlongs from home, in front by 2 to Guaranteed Spec. It's a length and a half more to Irwani, who tries to get the engine going from third. Down on the inside, Be Here, bottled up in traffic right now, being passed by Journeyman on the outside. Starting to move from the back, Epic Luck, NQF 75 is starting to launch a bid. They still got to come get It Can Be Done. It can be done to the top of the stretch. The lead is a length and a half, now 2. Up on the outside, trying to make up some ground is Journeyman. Epic Luck continues to make up progress down the far outside in QF 75. It Can Be Done has to make another 1/16 of a mile. It Can Be Done clear 2. Down the outside, Journeyman, Be Here trying to split runners. It Can Be Done still there, though. It Can Be Done goes gate to wire. Journeyman was second. Third was close. I think it was Be Here holding off Epic Luck, and fifth, Irwani.
Well, the 7-2 shot, your winner, 5-2 Journeyman second. And in terms of the selections, going back to the board, Matt Blanchett has got the winner, as does Lawrence Calden, and Mike Gillum with another hit, the place price for him.
Yeah, and Matt Blanchett, that's big because he was sitting in second, and that's going to help cut into that lead at the top.
As we expected, we had the 1, the 2, the 6, the 7, and the 10 selected in there.
Yeah.
And the 8. So a big spread.
Well, and interestingly, Seth Morris goes, for the 11-1 shot. that was actually compromised by that traffic issue.
Yeah, the 4 and the 11 had miserable trips. 4 ran a really big race to get, he was coming at the end.
We've got to do this. We'll wait for the official, but we've got to take the break. So let's take our first and only break of the final table. We'll come back with 5 races that will decide the championship. When we come back, Matt Blanchett is going to pull within about $10 of longtime leader Seth Morris. You're live at the NHC, the 25th edition from Horseshoe Vegas, the event center. Back after this.
Thoroughbred racing is taking vital steps to make our sport safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
Turn your love of racing into savings with equine discounts through the NTRA. Purchase through equine discounts and receive great savings on well-known brands like John Deere, Sherwin-Williams, Big Ass Fans, Farmers Insurance, and Office Depot. Join thousands of other equine members and support companies that give back to the sport we all love. Call 866-678-4289 or visit equinediscounts.com to start saving today.
You just have to get in the seat of a John Deere Gator XUV 835M. Not because of the spacious cargo box.
We're always picking up rocks out in the field, and the hydraulic bed has been really nice.
Or because it can tackle any terrain.
It can handle anything.
Not even because it tows up to 4,000 pounds.
We can pull things around easily.
You just have to get in the seat because something about being this productive just makes you smile.
It's made life a lot easier.
Learn more at johndeere.com/get-in-the-seat.
Get them all, baby! Open them up! Open them up!
Rick Hammerly, Rich Ang, Chris Larmy, Hall of Famer, joining us later tonight. In fact, speaking of Hall of Famers, Duke Matisse, Brett Wiener, and Jim Meeks?
Is it Jim Meeks?
Is it Jim Meeks? I think it's Jim Meeks.
Okay. Yeah, it is Jim. It's
right?
There's an objection, but it
doesn't affect
the
the top finishers, and it looks like it was not the 6 claimed against the 5. So 7-2 winner, 5-2 runner-up, and anxious to see the numbers specifically. Matt Blanchett a first-time qualifier, just firing really well. He had been around on day one, and we had mentioned his name a few times, and then he just made himself more or less a presence from, I'd say, fairly early yesterday, and sits here second and is within $10, you would think, when this number goes official. Let's look ahead and stay on pace. 5 more races in this final table sequence. After this Tampa action, we're going to be looking toward Gulfstream 8th. Gulfstream 8th. $9. Look at this number. $9.60, $4.60. So $14.20.
We have a pretty tight at the top.
A very nice play by Matt Blanchett to take a 7-2 and get that kind of figure. So we'll wait until the screen changes.
Move it on over. It's amazing those innocent-looking 7-2 shots.
Yep.
Can make a big difference.
Make a big difference. So we're here at Gulfstream already.
That's that's one of the that's really yet another that's another case, Chris, and you're somebody that you've spoken considerably with the best guests about the tote and about late odds changes, the CAW money. But one thing that would really help is a move away from the fractional odds, and go to real, the real.
Yeah, right. What's the real price?
And because the I don't know what you call it, but the elasticity, from 7-2 to 4-1, if you actually knew the specific price, it would certainly influence these kinds of players.
Yeah, certainly you would think nowadays we have the technology to enable you to do that.
Right? I mean, that's one of the...
Especially with penny breakage in Kentucky.
Exactly right. Absolutely. And you've seen that.
Yeah.
Let's see and it has gone. Here we go. $2.95 for Seth Morris. $2.89. $6 difference now.
Now it's tight.
Now it's tight. And the two of them have a $30 spread down to Lawrence Calden. $2.95 Seth Morris. $2.89 Matt Blanchett. $2.69 Lawrence Calden. Mike Gillum $2.68. What a great story he is with the move that he made from 63rd starting the day.
Yeah, and that was hard to do today, so that
really
was impressive.
We'll look forward to hearing more from him. $2.67 for Sharilla. Kaplan, $2.63. Sunday, $2.63. He's gotten a little cold, TJ. Cavalieri, $2.56. $2.54 for Rob Henney, and GT Nixon, $2.52.
It's funny, you can look on this leaderboard and see a couple people who didn't hit anything at Turfway this weekend.
That's right.
So they're coming on the turf here. We're about 2 minutes away from this race at Gulfstream with the class dropper on the outside. Don't mess with Tess, the 7-5 shot. I think vulnerable. I looked at the two who is 15 in the program. They're betting her down to 4-1, which is Rosebud's Hope. And I had the 3 in there with a little bit of a shot too, and her odds went up to 7. So.
Yeah, personally, guys, I'm looking at the 4. Don't get pickled. Being Cone with the Junior Alvarado. If I can get a repeat of that last race, I'm going to be right there. 9-1 square price.
This is a mile and a 16th. It's a conditional claimer, 25,000. 4-1 on Rosebud. Look at the money Rosebud's Hope has taken. 7-2 off the 15-1 morning line. Elizabeth Douglas with Edgar Zayas for Bruno Schickendans. And certainly the return to turf.
That must be it.
Yeah, I think that horse is real interesting. I think it's going to float up in price, too. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that one were to win. And like I said, I think it might go off at a higher price.
Musical Romance is 3-2, but 7-5 on Don't Mess with Tess on the outside. And we've got a couple more to load, and Peter Aiella will bring them around. This is the 8th and the 3rd, 8th at Gulfstream, 3rd of the final table races.
NHC final table. Good luck, and they're off. Toward the inside, it's Andy 1 who gets the first call and goes looking for the early lead. Musical Romance in the middle has speed. Cindy Lou Who into the top flight. Back from the inside, that's Rosebud's Hope. On the far outside, Don't Mess with Tess. In between horses and Latin Nikita, the early trailers are Don't Get Pickled and Love Her Lots. In the run to the first turn, the advantage to Musical Romance. In front here, Musical Romance the target. Out wide, Don't Mess with Tess is on the go. Moving up on the inside, that's Handy 1 into the top flight as they make their way to the final 6 furlongs. Up front, the leader is Musical Romance by a half a length. Cindy Lou Who second, Don't Mess with Tess is 3 wide third. Andy 1 fourth at the rail. 2 back to Latin Nikita with Rosebud's Hope, a length and a half better than Don't Get Pickled, and Love Her Lots is last. 23, 4/5 of a second, the opening quarter speed, the half mile, 47-1. These are legit fractions on the top end, and Musical Romance has the lead. Cindy Lou Who is second from a pressing Don't Mess with Tess now third. Rosebud's Hope is on the bridle for Zayas just behind the embattled trio. Andy 1 is at the rail. Love Her Lots given the green light by Jaramillo. She's the gray. Circling horses and on the move. Love Her Lots from last. And now the pace quickens. Look at Love Her Lots. She's 4 wide here. Don't Mess with Tess was blitzed on by her. And now it's the leader, Love Her Lots. Off cover, Rosebud's Hope. Don't Mess with Tess, wide and not effective. Off the turn and the stretch drive. Love Her Lots with a power move, but she's got work to do with Rosebud's Hope trying to close ranks. Down the center and Don't Get Pickled, 16th to go. Love Her Lots almost there. Rosebud's Hope is second. Love Her Lots, the blitz worked. It's Love Her Lots and Amisael Jaramillo to win for Patter Pop Racing, a length better than Rosebud's Hope. Don't Get Pickled is third. That Andy 1, 141.
Well, there's a couple of scores, small scores, for the 2 players at the bottom of the standings for this final table, as Rob Henney gets his first hit with the winner at 4-1. GT Nixon gets his first a placement at 7-2.
Yeah, GT was a little unlucky. The rider on the 3 kind of blitzed the field. The 2 was probably the best horse, got caught behind horses, and the 3 got the jump on it. I think it would have won the race with a different trip.
$10 winner plus place price for Rob Henney, and that'll probably put him around 5th or 6th. And for GT Nixon, that would probably put him 8th. TJ Sandy still looking for his first hit. Scott Cavalieri as well. They're going to be 9th and 10th when the mutuals are applied to this group. I
mean, this horse figured, and the price was right. He was claimed for 25 off the Tapeta. He's won on the turf before. She has, and got a fair price, I think.
Well, and Rosebud's Hope we had noted for Elizabeth Dobelis, and
took all the money.
It was all right in here. In fact, that horse, I'm just noticing it now, and Rick, John Adger, of course,
yes,
longtime racing manager for the McNairs, and the Congaree and Stonerside, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, John Adger, and John must have a few mares, because I see his name
pops up around.
Yeah, it does. It and of course Cowboy Cal. We had a couple of Cowboy Cal runners, DT. That'll turn the focus. That'll turn the focus to New York, right? Or no?
Oaklawn, I think.
Oaklawn,
So
yes.
Oaklawn.
Oaklawn 7th. First of 2 at Oaklawn, the 7th and the 8th. And these races are going to come in rapid succession, pretty quick.
Not a chance to take a deep breath.
No.
Action-packed final table.
So let's get the scratches out there at Oaklawn. The 6, 11, and 12 are out of this race.
And now, as each race passes, though, the guys at the top have a little stronger position. Now we're down to what? How many races are left?
4 races.
4?
Yep.
2 at Oaklawn, 1 at Aqueduct, and 1 at
and the Santa Anita Nightcap.
Santa Anita Nightcap.
A nightcap for the contest.
Yes.
Looking up at the board, where is Oaklawn?
6 minutes.
All right, boy.
That's what where are we?
If
spin the wheel.
Look at us, and then think about the guys that are playing for 5 and 6 figure totals. You can imagine the nerves, because Chris, I mean, for final table players, they may have glanced at these 7 races, but they didn't do as much work on these races as they did on the semifinal, the 23 semifinal.
Yeah,
race.
unless they were like pretty, maybe at the top at the end of day 2 or something.
Maybe TJ and
they might have, stayed up a little later and looked at those. But yeah, I think you're right that they wanted, big. It's a big thing just to get to the final table, and you're right. At the end here, they might be scrambling a little bit to figure out what they like and what they're going to play.
Well, and with 5 minutes, 6, 7 minutes between races. I mean, basically, though, you let that race, you don't even worry about the gallop out. You turn your attention immediately to what's going on at Oaklawn, and let's do that. There's 4 minutes. You can scratch the 6, 11, and 12 out of this. This is a straight. There's something you don't see anymore too often, Rick. Just a straight 32 claimer.
In fact, what did I write that down? Few places can even make this race
right?
anymore.
Just
32 on the dirt. They just not.
They don't fill.
They don't fill. Once in a while you have to offer them. Once in a while, between 35 and 50, you try and offer them, and you're lucky if you get 5, you make it go. But at Oaklawn Park and Churchill Downs, especially Oaklawn, all dirt racing, people come there to run, and if you got a dirt horse, you can run it there. So yes, and you know what? These are some of the best races you can find out there, because you have droppers, you got climbers, you got allowance horses coming in there. So this is a telling race. And once again, let's remind everybody, this is the short stretch of the mile run. This is the mile that starts and ends at the 16th pole, and the importance of being close. 3-4 lengths maybe at the top of the stretch, because there's not much running. You better be moving as you're heading towards the lane. So we talked about that yesterday. We liked a deep closer, and he deep closed and got up for third. So keeping that in mind, with Camp David bailing out of here, I mean, he was going to be some speed and be close. I looked at the recent claim from Steve Asmussen has been very hot. Motown Music. A little bit of a price. He's 9-1. Claimed for 20 last time. Went off at 2-1 in the mud. And I don't know. I think he might be okay at a price.
We landed on the same horse again.
That's amazing.
Because that's who I went to after. I had liked the 12, Camp David, but after the scratch, my second pick was the 7. And, this horse hasn't won in a long, long time, literally going back to March of 2023. And but Asmussen to claim this horse and for himself, it makes me wonder what he's got up his sleeve, what he saw in this horse. So, at the square price, very interesting claim.
Well, very happy to be able to formally congratulate Duke Matisse, who joins us now. Duke, later this evening, going into the NHC Hall of Fame. This was not an idyllic NHC for family Matisse, Team Matisse, as we say.
No, we didn't fare too well this year, but it's a tough contest. I mean, it's not so easy.
You can let somebody else win some of the time, don't you?
I'd like to win once, Hammer. So I'd like to win it one time.
Well, which would, of course, would make you and Paul, the first brothers to win NHCs. At a quick glance, what do we like in here? What do you do in this spot at Oaklawn?
I took the 10. I'm still playing the consolation thing, so I took the 10 here. I thought he was going to drift up a little bit higher, because in the exactas he's way longer than that, but so far he hasn't drifted at all. I thought he'd go off closer to 10-1.
He was 8 in the program. He's actually come down a little with the scratches, you figure. And his last few races are amongst, figure-wise, his better ones. Heading in the right direction, right? Dude?
Yeah, I like the fact that he won going 2 turns at Delaware, right? So I don't think the 2 turns will bother him here at Oaklawn. So that was my choice in the race. I mean, I have 5 horses in my pick 5. So
that's what we like to hear. That's what we like to
You're
hear.
The greatest. Some impressions about this leaderboard, this top 10, the final table. Anything that is you see any trends? I mean, this Matt Blanchett, what a story! First-time qualifier.
I saw that. He went in was it a freebie?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I
love that. You got it.
We do love it. It's amazing. Well, and of course, TJ Sunday, same thing. First-time qualifier, day one leader, and the way he played on Saturday, you would think he was a Matisse.
We never get off to the big starts, but
that's true. You guys are. That's
we're
true.
usually dead closers.
To say goodbye to Bill Shenvert and the Minnesota faithful. There we go.
We were talking about technique now, what you would do if you were in the top end, and I overheard you tell people keep it on the gas, right? Don't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. At this point, it's too early to play defensive.
Yeah.
I mean, and Seth hasn't done that once yet. I don't think.
No, he took a 17-1 shot.
Yeah, he's firing away.
At the Gulfstream, he took the 17-1.
Not yet. You can't do anything right now. There's too many. I mean, everybody's within $40.
It's pretty amazing, actually, and it's kind of has been like this since fairly early in the afternoon yesterday, right? It was a strange board. There was never any separation.
Yeah, the races haven't been like usual.
Right.
You get these bombs in the mandatories, and you get these 20-1 shots that and there were none this morning. So
no.
There was nothing you could do this
close,
morning.
Right?
No, not.
Well, and the Sunday, we talked about this. The Sunday, the challenge of these Sunday cards, if it's going to be races 1 through 4, 1 through 5, 1 through 6, it's the front half of cards that have got small fields, and
shot.
Unless there's some way to get the NTRA to impress upon the tracks to maybe play around on Sunday.
Well,
That's what Paul and I were kind of discussing.
After this race, we'll talk about that and why nowadays that would be a possibility.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Do you guys talk through the race?
Where is the?
No. I wish they would show the. They never show the.
I know it's
track we
never
need
where you
on
want
the
it to be.
What do you need?
I need my pen in a minute, but
so Duke, who did you like in this race? Who would you be on
the 10.
Final
he
table?
took the 10, 5-1.
10.
And let's
10?
quickly.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like the 10 too. At
5
10 and 7 is who I looked at.
You've got 8-5 favorite, the 3.
Dispatch. Home Run Trick, the gray horse, out alertly, showing his customary front-running speed. Chapelbarn on the inside moves level with him. Perfect flight between horses, eases off the speed. Stormy Pattern in the 4th position, charging into the turn. Search Engine racing in the 5th spot with Lycan and a 3-deep Motown Music, a length 2 Icarus, and that leaves St. Andrews to trail the field. He's kept on the outside, and he's running 10 lengths off the lead. Approaching the backstretch run, Chapelbarn from the inside. Offensive-minded, strides a length and a half in front. Home Run Trick takes the 2nd spot. He's in a good gallop now, and so is Perfect Flight right behind him in 3rd with Stormy Pattern, a gap of 2 to a line of runners. Motown Music, who's 3 wide. Lycan between horses. Search Engine down at the rail, and a length and a half to Icarus. St. Andrews draws level with him. Now there's just 7 lengths from first to last as they're halfway home. 23-1 the first quarter, the half 47-3. So pretty decent tempo as they approach the 4-turn run. There goes Perfect Flight between horses to challenge Chapelbarn and Home Run Trick, who's 3 wide. These 3 across the track around the 4-turn, and being eased up out of it is Stormy Pattern. Stormy Pattern pulled up out of the race. Search Engine in the 4th position within 3 lengths of the lead. Motown Music feels the stick, but he's sent along gaining ground, and so is St. Andrews as they come to the top of the lane. Home Run Trick has the lead. Perfect Flight struggling on the outside. St. Andrews, Motown Music, they're moving as a pair, and they're moving quickly. St. Andrews on the outside has a narrow lead. On the inside, Motown Music. 2nd, St. Andrews. Francisco Arrieta shaking clear, and St. Andrews wins. St. Andrews over Motown Music. 3rd home was Lycan, and 4th was Search Engine.
Well, this is going to be a big move for Mike Gillum, who started the day 63rd, and he is the only person that's going to get any money today in this 4th race. And Gillum with the winner, 5-1. So you figure about $15, $16. That is going to put him
probably
into
2nd, or maybe 2nd, even depending on how it shakes out.
2nd or 3rd.
He might get a little more than 15. I would think.
So
yeah,
too.
17, 18.
Yeah, that 10 ran a big race.
Because that was the 9 that
finished 2nd.
That was at Asmussen to finish 2nd. He was a prize.
Yeah.
Make sure you get your play in there. Just
nobody utilized Motown Music, so no place money at all. And wow,
I
Mike
don't know.
Gillum. I tell you, if Mike Gillum were to win this, coming from 63rd going into the semis, that's the biggest.
Well, and it just shows you if you can just make that final cut, you've got a shot.
Right? It's inspirational for anybody to try to get in that top 10%.
We got a few extra minutes for those last 2 races at Oaklawn.
Well, he's already made it inspirational.
Absolutely. Absolutely has.
He made it to the final table, and he's already like in second or third. So with 2 races, or 3 races.
Did that
to
move
go?
you up in the silver
Yeah,
contest?
I'm probably somewhere in the middle of the pack. I got like $68, $69 probably after that. So I mean I'm doing okay, but haven't had enough. Just haven't had. I've had today. I've made what has there been like 15 plays or so. I've had at least 6 seconds. So it's just been second-itis today. But you guys brought me luck there. I just finally got a winner.
Perfect.
Well, and there's plenty of people watching that if Duke Matisse likes the 10, they're punching tickets.
It might have been why he stayed 5-1.
There's no. You might be right. And that Asmussen claim as well, run good, and they were on both these horses were on the move, turning for home, which is where they had to be.
Dick. It looks like Dick Girardi is on his way out of town. You had enough? You got come over here. We got this is
behind
TV.
you. Watch out.
Come over in the corner.
I don't mind being upstage.
Face the audience.
I'm sorry about the camera. My apologies. Did not know it was there.
Dick Girardi.
I'm fine. Stay there, Chris.
No, you're fine. You're fine. They can adjust a little bit.
It's all good.
Dick, some thoughts? How'd you?
I needed to win the last race at Turfway yesterday with the 5 who lost by, I don't know, what was that, Chris, a half a hit or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was. No, you dead heated, I thought.
Dead heated for second, but lost the first by, I don't know, not a lot. He was closing. If he had gotten there, I think I'd have been somewhere between 35 and 45, just a guess. But I would have been no hope today. I have not had anything right today. But I would have won some money. But I was not going to move to any tables, much less a final table, off of my selections today.
Dick, how many times have you made NHC?
This is the second time.
Only second.
That is correct. I played in 2019 and here, and I won what they now call the silver or whatever this is in 2019. Yeah. I won it then with the same strategy I'm using today. It worked a lot better 5 years ago than it's working today.
You also, of course, have had good success in the BCBC.
That was same year, 2019, finished third, and Chris and I finished 1-2 in a Parks contest on PA Derby Day.
How about that?
He was 1, I was 2.
You're like Eddie Olczyk, because Eddie at BCBC, Ed's on television and he's on the leaderboard. You're on television for Parks for
PA
Pennsylvania Derby
that
Day,
is correct.
and you're playing punching away.
I was telling Lafitte Pinkai during the commercials, here's what I'm betting, as I pulled out my phone to bet during commercials. We had a couple minutes on each one, but yeah, you got to be quick like that.
Too funny. Looking up, we got 2. Are we in New York? Are we ready?
Have Aqueduct is next.
What are we?
8th race.
What are we doing, Duke? What do we like at Aqueduct?
Aqueduct, 8th race. I took the 8 horse. He had only run once.
I like the 2.
Didn't do too well, but
I mean, light might be a strong word.
Was wide on a day where I had the track
2
favoring inside, so putting Blakers on, I'm hoping for a big turnaround.
At this point, it's
There's
not
4
about
scratches
what you like,
in here. We
it's
got
about what you need.
The 3, 10, 11, and 12. And what about the first timer? What's the price on that first timer who hasn't been exposed yet in this field?
13-1. Well, no, the 4 is 13.
What about Serpy? I'm talking about
8-1.
PMS. 8-1. Is as good as any. The 5's got to be the chalk. So you mean Night Trail? I would take a look at. I'd take one of the first timers.
Looking at, let's give a quick glance here at Aqueduct. You got any, Chris? You got to play?
Yeah, I think I heard Duke, you say you like the 8? Was that
I took
right?
the 8
Yeah,
here,
I
yes.
like the 8 and the 1. I think they're both solid prices and both have a shot in here. So 1 and the 8.
Dutrow has got Necessary and Proper 5-2. This is a Clark Brewster owned runner. Miss Bourbon, Morley, 7-2. 3-1 on Zenlu, Ralph D'Alessandro. 3-1 currently. Jen's Kiss from Pat Quick with Lane Luzzy, 6-1. Stony Lonesome for you fried green tomatoes fans. 13-1 from Rachel Sells, who's had a very good winter with Samuel Camacho Jr. 14-1 now. Dactylografa, Jose Jimenez, 22-1, and Lady Lawrence, 7-1. The alternation filly from Michael Pronio with Trevor McCarthy on the rail. A couple more to load.
I have a question. Are the top 10, is everybody watching it together? Are they literally on the table?
No, they go back to their own respective tables.
Okay.
Let me tell you that Mike Gillum is now at 287.60. He is $2 behind Matt Blanchett, sitting second, and Seth Morris remains your leader at 295.18 as we go to the penultimate, or I should say third last race of the final table. Then we'll go back to Oaklawn, and we will close it out at Santa Anita. And look, Nick Alexander can't say no, and he's got Tom Seaver having just won. Tom Terrific wins the third at Santa Anita. I got to talk to when I'm in town. I want a sit down with Nick Alexander.
Absolutely.
And I want a deal on a Mercedes.
You know how car dealers
can't
are.
say no.
We'll give you the family
the
rate.
Family price. Here we go.
And they're off. Very slow start for Stony Lonesome, is already 3 lengths the trailer. Speed from Zen Lu from the far outside draw, and Zen Lu right out towards the front. There's Necessary and Proper. In between horses now puts a neck in front. Tightly at the rail there is Lady Lawrence in that early mix, and joining them, here comes Miss Bourbon. It's going to be Necessary and Proper who's in front. Ranging up on the outside here into the 2-path, that's Miss Bourbon. 3 wide is Zen Lu. Just off the tempo is Lady Lawrence. Drifting out there is Jen's Kiss, is in 5th with some momentum. Far back to the rest, about 8-9 lengths back there too. Stony Lonesome and the trailer, Dactylografa, 22-4 for the opening quarter mile, and they're chasing Miss Bourbon. Miss Bourbon's doing it nicely so far for Dylan Davis, is up by 1.5 lengths. Miss Bourbon approaches the top of the stretch and is 2 lengths in front. Necessary and Proper is all in, continues to chase this leader. Zen Lu is there in 3rd. The rest with some running to do, but Miss Bourbon hugs the rail and kicks away. It's Miss Bourbon finding plenty in the late stages, approaching the final furlong. Miss Bourbon has a 3-length cushion. Zen Lu is going to try one final time. Miss Bourbon, Zen Lu, down to these two inside the final 16th. Miss Bourbon, Zen Lu getting closer. Miss Bourbon finding the wire. Miss Bourbon wins the finale. Miss Bourbon over Zen Lu, Necessary and Proper, and Lady Lawrence in 1 minute 12 and 1.
Well, you got 4 players. Four players have got the winner, and it's Seth Morris gets another winner. Mike Gillum, Rob Henney, and Daniel Kaplan, all cash here. They're all going to have. They're all going to have the winner, and the runner-up. What was
9? None anybody had the 9.
So you're going to have, very interestingly, going into this race, 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th are all going to hit, and price-wise, you're looking at 4-1. So probably $13 or $14. This will put Mike Gillum in 2nd. But he won't make up any ground on Seth Morris. Rob Henney will move into 4th, and Daniel Kaplan will move into 5th.
Pretty wild.
So we're going to have a slightly different top 5 when this goes official.
Yeah, now's when we start really getting tactical, because we're down to what, 2 races?
2 races.
So this is where you really have to, pay attention to where you are and where everyone else is, and sometimes that dictates your play more than the opinion of the race.
Makes all the sense in the world, right?
Depends on what your goal is, but if you want to win,
it's getting there. I think Seth is doing a heck of a job keeping this lead. So I mean, he seems like he's just keeps moving on.
Yeah.
Now, we want to go back to that topic about the races. The Sunday races today. We took the early ones. We talked about it later. Not necessarily some of the better races that you're going to find on the card. And we asked, well, maybe we could get some cooperation from the tracks for today to do that. Now, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe 5, when all the action was on the later card, we had 1 pick 6, we had 1 pick 5, maybe a pick 4 or 2. So that was the reason that you would jam everything to the end.
Yeah.
So now we've got a pick 5 early. So you could just or you got to pick 4 early. You got to pick everything early. So I would think that maybe there'd be some cooperation to say, hey, you know what? Pay attention to our early pick 5 today. And with the crowd in this room, they would be pounding it too. So
totally agree. I think it's a really smart move. The NTRA could definitely put a little, put a little word in each track. Paul's, my brother Paul was we were just talking about this about an hour ago.
And so, I'll if I could help in any way getting that done, I'd love to do that, because like I said, years ago you would say absolutely not, because all the money came in on the late. But many tracks have, special bonuses on the early pick 5 and all that stuff. I mean, look, these are the people that are playing. I mean, you do a favor for them every once in a while.
Nice.
It comes back. It comes back in spades. But it did make it challenging here.
It made it really difficult this morning, I think, to make any kind of move. With Aqueduct had a total, I think, of 19 horses in 4 races. They had 1 4-horse field and 3 5-horse fields. And Laurel actually had probably the best racing this morning.
It did.
They did a decent job with their card today. So,
what did the Turfway edition Friday and Saturday? I thought it was an impactful addition to the lineup.
Yeah, Turfway had some prices at least, and bigger fields. So, I'm not a huge fan of the poly track, but it's better racing than what these 5-horse, 6-horse races that they're running at Aqueduct and Santa Anita most of the time. So, you got to have big fields in a tournament. In tournaments, you have to have big fields.
It's a necessity.
You
see it when you sit here and go over all the cards. It's easy because, yesterday when you can pick and choose, I mean, you're pitch. You know which ones you're going for, basically.
Yeah, we had 23 races this morning, played 10 plays, and you could eliminate 5 or 6 of them when you couldn't play them. So now you're down to 16, 17. You just got to keep firing. You're almost playing almost every race.
In terms, Duke, you say about the races you don't even bother looking at, and we had that conversation that came up over the course of the weekend, and some players not even looking at certain racetracks, or when the wet track came up on Friday at Fairgrounds, it just immediately eliminated, and they didn't even waste time looking at those races. Which I thought was interesting. I mean, for you and for Paul, how do you guys, generally survey the 2 days, Friday and Saturday?
I'm looking at every single race at every single track, except for maybe Golden Gate. Golden Gate, I probably only looked at the end. I probably didn't look at Golden Gate until it got towards the end of the card. But I looked at every single race at every single track. So, I mean, it's been a lot of handicapping for 3 days for me.
No doubt.
And obviously, you guys that are veterans, you have a quick way of throwing a race out.
I do have a little bit of an edge because I have a database that tells me things that other people don't have.
But I mean, as far as we're deciding to whether to bet to look at a race even further, when you have to.
Well, I mean, it's very difficult to choose which races you're going to choose anyway. I mean, but I'm in the first 2 days in the contest, I'm looking for prices, anything above 6, 7 to 1. That I think has a chance to win. So. I start there. I start with the big field races and look for horses that I know are going to be more than 5 to 1, and hopefully I can hit a bunch of those. This year I didn't hit too many.
I can't believe that you said you looked at every race. I just can't fathom that. That for me, there's no way I could do that. I don't have the horsepower, so I have to filter it down. And usually, for the optional plays, I'm looking for the tracks and races that I really like.
I actually have to play. What is the next race? How much time do we have?
You've got 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to have to run and play that race.
To the Oaklawn 8th. This is a straight allowance, first level, 1 mile, 4 and ups. You can scratch the 1, the 2, the 5, and the 6, but still an 8-horse field. Before we do that, let's take a look at what that win did for the 4 players that had the Aqueduct mandatory. Seth Morris, 3:10.28. Mike Gillum has gone from 63rd to 2nd.
Wow.
He is $8, little less, $7.58 behind Seth Morris with 2 to play. Matt Blanchett, first-timer, Sitting third, 289, no change. Lawrence Calden up to fourth now, 284.56. So he is $26 behind Seth Morris. Dan Kaplan, 278, no change. Rob Henney has made a steady advance. He is sitting at sixth, 269.34. And then behind that, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, Nick Sharilla, 267. TJ Sunday, 263, your first day leader. GT Nixon, 257, and Scott Cavalieri, 256. So now we are
2 races away.
But we're still a cap horse.
Right.
We're still a cap horse from top to bottom.
But I think this is where it gets really tactical. And Duke, I'm curious what you have to say here, because to me, being in the lead going into that last race is a giant advantage.
Oh, it's huge.
And so this is where you want to get to the lead in this race. And so whoever can get to the lead. So if I'm, in contention here, I want to find a horse that would put me in the lead if I get it, because there's such an advantage to being the person on top and going in that last race.
100%. I'd be shooting to go right to first.
Right.
I'm not holding back in this race.
Right.
I'm going for price, and I'm going for something that's
Now, if you're farther down, maybe you try to put yourself where you play the horse you like to win it on the last race. But if I'm close, if I can find a horse that can get me the lead here, I'm going for it, because if you can be on the lead in that last race, then you have a lot of options that other players don't have. A lot more ways to win.
Well, let's take a first look at this 8th at Oaklawn and figure out who is eligible to do what with whom. Ben Diesel is 3-1. The Eddie Milligan, the 3 with Manny Esquivel. Mr. Thunderstruck from Kelly Von Hemel, 14-1. So there's a $30 horse for those that are in the bottom half of the standings. Megan's Honor is 11-1. That's the 7 from Scott Becker with Cisco Arrieta. The 8, Spitesville, is 32-1. There's a cap horse, one of 2 in the field, from C.R. Trout with Louis Quinones. Inexorable is 9-2 for Asmussen with Son Keith. Then there's Order of Magnitude, 5-1. Ben Franklin, the McPeak favorite, with Julian Leperoux, 6-5. And Caballo Feliz, 22-1, the other cap horse from Cipriano Contreras with Carlos Barbosa. So there's a couple of cap horses. There's a couple of $15 types. And, who needs what here?
Well, it depends where you are in the standings.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You got Ben. You got
go
this
top to bottom.
This Ben Diesel horse actually is trying to become the 5th horse out of this last allowance race to win. The winner came back and won. Three others in that race have come back to win. He's trying to be the 5th horse out of that really productive allowance race to come back and win. That's Ben Diesel. So he's 3-1. Depends where you are there. The 9 horse, the Asmussen horse, I was looking for a little bit bigger of a price there. He sneaks into this first condition allowance race, even though he's won 2 allowance races already, but the money, he didn't win enough money in Houston for them to count. So he comes back here off a race that wasn't great, and I thought we'd get a little bit bigger than 9-2, but not a bad spot there. If I had my bomb, I would do Megan's Honor this 7. The Scott Becker.
Yeah, I think Megan's Honor has had some really tough trips in the last few races. The horse is better than its recent races would indicate. So I think there's some value there from a betting standpoint. Now, I'm in the contest, it's at a price where you could, probably play it from any place you're at on the board. So it kind of depends on the opinion of the race. To me, if I'm near the top right now, I'm playing the horse I like, as long as it can get me to the front.
Ben Franklin, the obvious favorite off the maiden win, and a horse that has really improved from late in the year into his 2 starts at Oaklawn. And from a fig standpoint, 7.5 on Thorograph in that January 27th race, and then a 5 1/4. Not necessarily the best fig that anybody has run in here, but he's moving in the right direction. He's a little lightly raced. Megan's Honor is a horse that seems to have been reacting from a couple of good efforts back at St. Louis, back at FanDuel in November and October, and he's going to have to snap back.
Well, I think there's excuses for those efforts. Not necessarily a reaction. It's some bad trips. So,
well, and for trip handicappers, this is really not a fun board. It really isn't, because Ben Diesel, I mean, is just okay, but I don't want Ben Diesel at 7-2.
No,
I mean,
no.
if I'm trying to make any kind of progress.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's one you can beat. What do you think, Duke?
I think Ben Diesel probably is the horse to beat here. He like Hamer was saying, that horse is coming out of one of the biggest key races I've ever seen. I actually have 5 winners out of that race already. So
Oh,
I think
really?
I think this will
one?
be 6 if he
Wow,
can win.
it's incredible. I
so
started
it's,
counting back. Good, it's unbelievable.
I think that's why. I think that's why he's taking so much money. But I thought Mr. Thunderstruck was an interesting long shot in here. So one sprint race now stretching out to 2 turns, which he does better. So
Thanks,
thought he might
Chris.
be an
Chris Larmy,
interesting,
everybody. Thank you. Chris Larmy with a terrific turn here at the final table, and we've got about as perfect a scenario as we possibly could have for the last 2 races until we crown a champion. And this is very typical when Duke Matisse and Paul Matisse are not part of the final table. They've always been part of the late conversation, Paul.
Yeah, I'm like one of those retired football players.
You're like Paul McGuire. You're the Paul McGuire of
yeah,
this.
right. I can't make it. Can't play anymore, so I come down to do the commentating.
I love it. Duke is going to go make a play. Paul.
He's still involved.
He's playing in the. How'd you do in the silver, or have you had enough of that?
No, I just so-so. I kind of screwed up early and then got behind. You know that's an all or nothing thing. So you got to start taking bombs on that. You know. But I've been following along and playing along.
Talk a little bit about as the post parade continues. We got 7 minutes to this penultimate race. Your thoughts overall about what we've seen these 3 days?
Well, it's this event is so great. You know, it's just that I just walking around and listening to all the people talk and people meet each other for the first time and they become friends. And I just heard a guy behind me invite the guy that he never met before to go to Keeneland with him, and he's going to take him up on it. Just that's what it's all about.
Well, and of course, for your family to have the next generation of Matisses competing, that's special too. And Chick got back, your dad, back this year.
Yeah, he's been pumped up. he's been so excited.
He's been by here a few times, just raring to go.
He didn't even do any good, and he's pumped up just to be here. But my son tried to get in the last chance too, which was a little unfortunate because he should have made it. He had a little unlucky break it.
Well, you had
even another one.
Well, the Turfway, you had that horse that somebody put what 6,000 on.
Yeah, he had already made the bet from like early in the day, and that would have put him in if he had won. And some guy bet 4,000 or 6,000 to win place on the horse, which at Turfway you don't even see. And it wasn't a computer guy either.
No,
it was like 3 minutes to post.
Right,
and he had to cancel the bet, and then the horse won. It was. It was unlucky for him.
Well, and then our man Clocker John, he runs into a dead heat with that horse.
That's a new way to lose.
That unbelievable.
There's 8 million ways to lose at the racetrack.
We found 8 million and one.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What are we doing in this spot, Paul? For you, I mean, talk about this leaderboard and what your impressions have been about our long-time leader.
This is a tough race for.
That's what I thought.
Especially if you're in this. I mean, I guess if you've fallen back a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of spread out a little bit, but then I think you got to go against the 2 favorites. But I mean, the 2 favorites are probably 80% to win this race, maybe more. So which is good for the guys at the top, probably. But to what to do with that, I don't know. I guess if you really like one of them. If you're in the top 4, you kind of go for the one you really like, I guess. Top 5. Otherwise, you got to probably bomb away,
And once again, this is one of those.
But that's more of a poke and hope, I think, here.
Start and finish at the 16th pole, which is a little bit of a wrinkle in there.
I mean, there's a couple horses that I guess that I thought the 4 was a horse that wasn't without a chance.
17-1, the Kelly Bond.
Yeah. I guess if I was going long, that's where I would
go.
That's
who I took.
Yeah.
I have to go a little long.
And that kind of shows the kind of thinking that's involved, because people are going to, if you've got PPs in front of you and you're looking at Mr. Thunderstruck, you're wondering, why is that at 17-1? What makes this horse not without chance?
Well, he's second off a layoff, and they prepped him the first time, and The Van Hemels have done, they haven't had a lot of success at Oaklawn this year, but I thought their horses have run okay. And they're probably gearing up, for the summer, but it wouldn't be shocking if that horse came running and got a piece of it. That's why I said I don't. It's probably not the greatest win shot, but I guess like you guys were saying, if it did fall apart or something, he could get in it. I thought.
And Duke, what you're thinking on it?
I like Ben Diesel. If I was one of the guys that was up on the top, I'd be looking at Ben Diesel. I just think that key race is just too much. I mean, the horse is coming out of a race with so productive, and I just think this field's not that great. I think he's just looks like the right horse in here, but I can't go that short, so I went with Mr. Thunderstruck.
It'll be interesting to see if the guys in third and fourth try to inch a little. I think I would if I was third or fourth. I'd try to get whatever I like the 3-11 better, and try to get to myself in a better spot so I didn't have to just poke in that in the last race, because I don't.
Because quietly, if the 3 wins, you're getting what, 8, 9, you might get $12, and all of a sudden you're
perfect horse.
You're in range.
And also, it's a little bit of a protection too, because if Seth or Mike takes the 3, now they get away from you if the 3 wins, or even the 11. So you go to it your opinion. I kind of lean more to the 11 than the 3. I'm a little opposite than Duke, but I think one of the 3 or 11 is probably going to win. But I think it's a good strategy to take one of those 2 horses there, because they're really the most likely winners.
What do you make of the way this leaderboard came together? It's really kind of a fresh set of. Well,
it's absolutely great. Mike was 9th or 10th, right?
Well, he came from 63rd.
Oh, 63rd from today?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where he started today? That's awesome.
Right?
That's what it's supposed to be. That's what I'm. I'd love to see it. That's the way this contest is supposed to be.
I mean, I can't. There was somebody that made the final table, but didn't go this far up the ladder in the final.
Well, they were closest they've ever been when they started the final table.
In terms of the compact.
Yeah. That's the closest it ever been.
Wow.
All 10 were within a cap.
Right.
And that had never been the case.
Pretty much the whole contest.
There was never a
separation,
separation,
right?
Never. No, never got. And kind of the way the races went. There was the first day the scores were high, but there were like contest horses that won. But then like yesterday there was no cap horses really that won, so it was always a grind almost.
There was one cap horse. I think.
Yeah, maybe one.
One cap horse.
Yeah. Not like sometimes when there's my late friend Dinky. I always tell everybody at our table, never get discouraged, because I watched Dinky the one year. He did not have $10, and he got 3 caps in the last hour, and made the cut.
Wow.
It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. In fact, they all came about 15 minutes apart.
Yeah, they were quick. They were quick.
Yeah, it's tremendous. Yeah.
So I was. When everybody was down, how people get down at the end on the second day, you start to realize you're not going to make it. I was telling everybody, don't
think that way.
Don't think that way. If you got it's a little harder if you have them in the mandatories. But if you got those optionals and you can get them, you can jump.
It's post time at Oaklawn. This is our penultimate final table race. The Oaklawn 8th. Ben Diesel 5-2. Eddie Milligan with Manny Esquivel for the late Mr. Horton. Actually now Kevin Horton, his son. And Mr. Thunderstruck 16-1. Kelly Vaughn looking for his first win at the meet. Get him off the duck with Chris Landeros 17-1 for the 4. Scratch the 5 and the 6. Megan's Honor 9-1. Scott Becker for Cisco Arietta. And then the 8, Spitesville 36-1. C.R. Trout, Louis Canonius. Inexorable, the 9 is 4-1. Asmussen. The 10, order of magnitude 9-2. Diodoro and Harry Hernandez. And how about little Harry Hernandez out of Finger Lakes and Aqueduct Winters?
You know what? When my brother Greg trained, and he did some work for him when he was first starting. And my brother Greg always liked him.
I think he's a good little jockey. He won one for us.
And not like some of these jockeys. He never pretended like he knew what he was doing. Wouldn't listen to other people. It was he always had a good attitude. So it's not, his success is not shocking to me.
No, it's great. It's great that he's this kind of a circuit.
So he gave me one yesterday that I didn't particularly like.
A great ride.
I'm actually a big fan of Harry Hernandez because I watched him ride at Turf Paradise, and he was tremendous at Turf Paradise.
I always liked
tremendous grass rider.
He's aggressive nowadays too, which is really a good thing in this day and age.
8-5 on Ben Franklin, the favorite, and 24-1 on Caballo Feliz. Cipriano Contreras with Carlos Barbosa. Couple behind the gate yet. I think they got one more at Oaklawn today. 9 today.
I'm at least 9 probably.
No, they're not famous for overloading.
No, 9 is usually the number.
No, it is 9. 9 today. On big race days, they've expanded.
Which 9 should be the number
everywhere.
Everywhere.
All right, getting ready here for your 6th of 7 races. Then we'll have a little time between leading up to the final.
And Laroff. Caballo Feliz broke sharply, broke inwards, is up on the pace. Spitesville quicker. Spitesville to the front. Caballo Feliz takes a hold of the bit, takes the second spot. Ben Diesel third in the early stages. Megan's Honor between horses, a 3-deep order of magnitude with that party into the turn. Then comes Mr. Thunderstruck. Ben Franklin alongside of him. And Inexorable is the early trailer. 9 lengths off the lead. Around the clubhouse turn. And the pacemakers. Spitesville on the rail with Luis Quinones, a length and a half in front of Caballo Feliz, who's now moving up in the 2-path to come and press just on the neck of Spitesville, approaching the backstretch run. Megan's Honor on a snug hold between horses, a deep order of magnitude. Ben Diesel easing off that pair to run in 5th, 5 behind. 2 back to Ben Franklin. Inexorable joining Mr. Thunderstruck at the tail end of the field. Now 8 lengths from tip to tail. Spitesville still in the lead. Caballo Feliz keeping the pressure on all the way. Megan's Honor 2.5 behind. Order of magnitude is plummeted towards the back of the field. Absolutely has to turn it around if he wants to win it. Ben Diesel claiming the 4th position. Inexorable is next along with Mr. Thunderstruck. Ben Franklin in order of magnitude are at the back. Ben Franklin's got to get going as they round the far turn. There goes Megan's Honor at a price 10-1. Just blew past Spitesville and Caballo Feliz. Megan's Honor with an eye-catching move and turns for home with a 2-length edge. Now Ben Franklin's getting underway. He was last a moment ago. Now he's second. It's Megan's Honor in front. Here comes Ben Franklin on the outside, powering to the lead, and he's going to win going away. Ben Franklin declaring independence on this field. Ben Franklin by 2.5. Megan's Honor was second. Inexorable was third home.
Well, as it happens, there was our stalking Mike Gillum took the 8-5 favorite. How about this?
Yeah, took Paul's advice. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I think he made the right move.
If you like
one thing, it's all going to come down to that place price, though, right?
If you're sitting close to Mike, go.
Actually, he's got enough, I think, doesn't he? He's got enough to get by at 8-5.
How
hot is he? Because of the change, he's definitely got enough.
So
it's only 7.
So 54.
758.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get by.
If you get him, who was second? The bomb was second.
How hot is he?
It's unbelievable.
He's going to be in
Can
front
he rub some of that luck off on us?
$1 or $2, probably.
You and I will go to the crap table.
The 7 was the 7.
We'll go with
price.
Mike after
What was the price on the 7?
The 7 ended up.
I actually hit the try, I think.
7 was 10-1.
Okay.
Nobody took Megan's Honor. That's a surprise, isn't it?
Yeah, I would thought somebody would have
take
had
that.
Yeah,
10-1?
that sounded like a contest horse to me. I don't know.
Well, and to give everybody an idea of who took what, you had when Matt Dinnerman said that order of magnitude was plummeting to the back,
Seth Morris.
That hurt Seth, and let's see, the 5th and 6th. Who was 5th and 6th going in? Dan Kaplan and Rob Henney also took him, and Inexorable, the 9. The 9 was utilized by Matt Blanchett and Lawrence Calden, as well as Nicholas Sharilla. And then down at the bottom, TJ, who is looking. TJ had a little price.
Who did he take a shot?
Price. He went reaching for.
Technically,
Spitesville, the 50-1 shot. Wow.
Technically, everybody's in play, right? For the last, nobody's a cap behind.
No, nobody should be a cap behind.
I'm not sure there's going to be a cap horse in that last race at Santa Anita, but
it's close.
But technically, nobody's out of it.
Well, almost certainly going to find Mike Gillum.
He's going to be,
forged
about
into
$1.
the lead with one race to play, but the two of them, they will at least be they'll be $20 ahead of the third place, Matt Blanchett.
Yeah, everybody else is going to have to go a little deep. So everybody else is going to have to go double digits probably, right? Or 8 to 1 maybe.
They are 1 minute from the fourth race at Santa Anita, and when that gets clear, we will then first get an idea of the prices that'll be available at Santa Anita in the fifth race, which will be our deciding event here at the event center. Horseshoe Vegas, the 25th NHC. You won how long ago now?
8 years ago.
8 years ago. It doesn't seem like 8 years ago.
The pandemic screwed everything up time-wise.
That's true.
You can't figure out everything was.
You double everything. No.
I'd have them locked out by now.
6.
I had 390 something or something like
880
that.
Here it is, 880. 880, so he in fact will move
new leader. Lead.
311.
1150.
Yep, 311.50. So he'll be up $1.25.
That's a big buck and a quarter right now.
That could be an $800,000 buck and a quarter.
He had a right strategy. He made the right play, I thought. That's what I would have done if I was him.
Unbelievable. And plus, let's be honest. How much does this shake up Seth Morris?
Well, Seth's had the lead for I don't know how long. Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time.
For a day and a half.
Yeah.
Seth is calm.
He's got to get it back together.
He's got the good mojo going.
Just think about what he likes.
He's got a half an hour to come back to.
It kind of takes the favorite out of him. He can't play the favorite though, probably. So he's going to have to think about what he wants to do.
Let's do this. Let's take a look quickly while this race at Santa Anita is in the gate. Let's take a look at at the. Let's take a look at the tote board, and let's look at the probables. All right, here we go. The double probables.
No, we know.
Leaderboard has been updated. This is the updated current leaderboard heading into the final.
And there is the number, 311.50 for Mike Gillum, who has come from 63rd to take the lead with one race remaining.
Absolutely awesome.
What a story.
This is what they wanted when they started this format.
Well, and you guys are in no small part to thank for the changes that have been widely applauded. The wrinkle of more races on Saturday, less on Friday.
Yeah.
This was your idea.
Yep, and I'm glad they did that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we must have had 25 people. Everyone mentioned that.
Oh, really?
And you mentioned, in a positive way.
That's great.
It
That's
would make sense.
I mean, the Friday becomes ridiculous nowadays. There's just not enough plays.
Yeah.
I mean, I think 2 years ago, people were putting in even monies.
Yeah.
On the first day because there was nothing to play. Nothing even to play.
I can tell you that Mike Gillum is from Indianapolis. He qualified at Horseshoe.
Wow.
And we're in Horseshoe.
Well, Rachel's always excited.
That's a good point. That's true, but overly extra excited.
Well, I'll tell you who's going to be excited is Eric Hallstrom.
Oh, yeah, right. That's your buddy, too.
What Eric Hallstrom's doing over there, this would be, he's a 54-year-old. This is his second NHC, Mike Gillum. And in fact, he I think was at least a semifinalist last year. Now that I think about
was
it,
he?
the name, certain names you see. I mean, you.
Well, he's playing like he's been there
together,
before.
Right?
I'll tell you that. He really is playing like he's been here before.
Well, to come from where he came, this will be an incredible story. Were you guys? Obviously, Paul and Duke Matisse are with us as we look down the stretch here at Horseshoe. Were you surprised that Marshall and Tony Joe, who were looming, as well as Christy Moore and Alexa Zepp, these are as seasoned a set of players, that they were within striking distance for an extended period during the semi and could not make an incursion?
I have a little bit of theory on that.
Yeah.
As great as having two entries is,
here we go.
It is a hard thing to do once you're here.
Yep.
And last year it totally screwed me up a couple times. I think Duke had some problems with it this year. I mean, it's a great luxury to have when you come in, because it usually means that you're going to have some shot. After the first day, you won't get totally eliminated. But all of them, they had 2 in there.
Yep.
And that becomes a different thing. You start thinking, I can do this here, I can do there. And you kind of shortcut what you want to do exactly. You kind of.
I actually don't mind it, but it didn't matter if I had 5 entries this year. It wouldn't have mattered. I had $8 on one ticket, and the $8 ticket got it to 130, so it wasn't too bad. So I did good on day 2.
That is great. It is this topic, because we've discussed it with Rick, and we've asked a lot of players. Paul Sherman was funny. He was with us yesterday, and last year when Paul did his turn, talking to us, and he said, next year I'm done with 2 entries. I'm only going to go with, and of course he double qualified. And he said, "We're right out the window."
Well, I'm not too much.
But how do you turn it down, right?
You can't pay
I
much as him
wouldn't
and
advise
not
not to do 2, but I think you have to be careful in your thinking, because you kind of shortcut out. You could say, all right, I'm going to take a short one here and a long one here, instead of thinking.
Try to keep them balanced.
Yeah, keep them balanced instead of where you got at some point you got to get aggressive.
With one.
And I think it's sometimes hard. Like the Duke had 2 the one year that he did good, a couple of good runs, but when one, he kind of concentrated on one.
Yeah, I kind of threw one away after a while. I just got rid of it. I just got rid of it.
Yeah. Put the longer shot in and don't even worry about it.
So I just concentrated on the one, and when I was trying to catch you, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
He just kept going further and further away.
And you said John told me he got crossed up on.
Yeah, he definitely had a problem this year. Yeah. Without a doubt. It can really happen to you. It happened to me last year without a doubt, with
and you see some of the guys just taking the same pick, because you can tell obviously they're right
Tony,
there.
Tony
until they decide the same,
right? He was
up there all day through Saturday.
Yeah, he plays the same, so he's trying to get 2 up in there. He's trying to get 2 in the finals. Yeah.
So if you're right once, you might as well just be right.
The one guy that surprised me that didn't make the cut was Dennis Tiernan. He moved into second place at some point.
He was there the whole 2 days.
Yeah, he was second with like an hour to go, I thought. I saw his name at 2:50 with an hour to go.
I think you're right. Well, they're official at Santa Anita. No, not official yet. I will tell you, it looks like you're going to have. It looks like the 1 and the 3 are going to be heavy favorites.
Deserving favorites too, I think.
Right.
Yeah, which is going to make it very difficult now for Seth. That's what I said earlier. But by the fact that he got moved to second, now he can't take the favorite he likes. That's a huge luxury to have when you in this kind of situation with the way this race kind of shapes up. Sometimes you get to the final table and the picks. You don't even make the picks; they pick you. You got what you got to take.
What are these guys doing?
I don't know. They must have hit something somewhere. Either that or...
You recognize anybody over there?
We got a crew over here that's going crazy.
It's losing it. That's good.
And even money was shot once, so it's
maybe
probably
they
not
own the
that
worst of one, maybe.
That could be, maybe. Who is that hammer? Juan Landeros, the trainer at Santa Anita.
That's a new name to me. I was looking at the same thing. I don't know him.
How about that? You don't know him?
No, I do not know him. What about you, Duke?
No, I don't know that. Do not know that name.
I don't have.
It's the second start of the meet, so I don't know.
I don't have any PPs to see where he ran last.
It might be. Is it a Dan Blacker assistant?
Now
that
maybe.
could be.
Dan Blacker
Look
assistant.
at you. Look at you.
Yeah, Duke's got to figure it out.
This is why they're the Matisses and the rest of us aren't. That's.
He's got days, right, for the
workout deal.
Yes.
Piece of stuff.
Heisa. Kenny McPeak lookalike keeps going by.
Yeah, that's.
I keep wanting to yell, Kenny, we're over here.
He does look like Kenny McPeak.
He does. It's funny you say that. I thought.
Here we go. Watch their step.
Well, come over and check.
Oh, we talked.
We just talked about. Here's Chick. Come here.
Yeah.
Here you come.
Come right over here.
Watch
Come
that.
right over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the man who sired these two. This is the
one and
Chick,
only.
the one and only Chick Matisse, one of the all-time greats, a winner at Orleans, right? A World Series winner.
Right. World Series.
Hold that stick mic closer.
Okay.
And great to have you back, Chick.
Oh, thank you. Nice to be here. I'm really happy to be here.
Tell us what you were talking about when you walked by.
Well, we just had like a 10-minute discussion on what the players should have bet on the mathematical angle or the odds angle. And we said for nobody to take the 7 was remarkable. Just remarkable that nobody, especially 2 through 6, because of the math.
You know what this is like? This is like when Andy Serling comments on on Final Jeopardy and the bad betting in Final Jeopardy.
Well, it's what we were saying too, is where
a little better,
where you don't make at this point in the contest, you don't make the picks. The kind of picks makes you, on some of those,
we also were discussing that when that Paul won. Paul was absolutely thinking that the fella that could have beat him took a 25-1 shot when he could have played the math and beat you. Do you remember that?
Well, he tried to get a place.
Yeah, right.
He had a shot to run second too.
But if he had taken something, we said if the roles were reversed, you probably would have beat the person. You know what I mean? If the roles were reversed,
you would have taken the shorter
because you'd have
price.
played more the math and played the defense and all of that.
Yeah.
It was kind of clever of the second guy to take the other.
What Roger did was
except that when you take an 8-5 and post time he goes to 6-5 or to 7-5,
That's a great point.
you don't get it.
In this day and age, that's a good point.
And how many do in this day and age?
That's right.
How many horses
But
go
at
for that?
Oaklawn, I think they do a better job at curtailing some of that. They're better than most, right?
They used to.
But I agree with you, right.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry in Oaklawn about the CAWs, but just favorites in general get that last beat down,
And also, when you take them, you better win.
You better win.
Right.
That's when I play the contest. That's what if I take a horse that's under 3-1, I feel myself. If he doesn't win, I really screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at this point in the game.
In terms of year-round play, contest-wise, we'll talk separately in a second about bankroll, bankroll play. But for contest purposes, how have you had to adjust to CAW movement when building plays?
Well, I actually had this conversation with Chris Larmy that was here earlier, is that they really should consider raising the caps, because the way that CRWs are attacking the short places and not playing the longer ones, that the horses that used to be 15-1 are now 25-1, and the ones that used to be 20 are now 50.
Has that 20-1 kind of just been the way it's been?
Yeah,
one of those deals? It's always been that way.
That's the number they picked 25 years ago or 30 years ago now, probably, since the Auto Tote won there when the Florida Derby.
Now you make a good point, and we had talked about that when the late money goes on those horses. Guess what? Everybody else goes like this.
Yeah.
So why not be rewarded?
It's got to be something that's got to be considered in the future, because there's almost like on these mandatory races, there's sometimes when there's no really range for anybody to pick. It's you have two horses that are under 2-1, and you have three horses that are over 30-1.
Exactly.
So everybody in the room is picking between two horses, that are between 2-1 and 20-1.
No, and this, of course, this transfers into bankroll play, just day-to-day play, and how frustrating it is, and there's plenty of things that you see the players complain about that are a little picayune. This complaint is 100% legitimate. It is taking the passion. There's a passion for play that is being sapped out of the players, and it's tragic. I mean, and something has got to be done, in a cohesive manner to limit the access. I mean, this cannot continue.
I'm blaming you. I'm going to start blaming you for not having something happen here. With the reach that you have, with the connections that you have, you can't get something done.
We've talked about it. It was talked about
Oh, I know. You've been ahead of it.
Way ahead.
Yeah.
We had a conversation. You remember the show we did, which we called Mutual Interests, where I had Steve Christ, Andy Beyer, Jerry Brown, Ted Mudge, Andy Serling, and maybe Davidowitz, and each one of them talked about a topic of real paramount importance going forward, and that is where the first CAW money. Oh, it was Maury Wolf. It wasn't Davidowitz.
Yeah,
it was Maury, and Maury talked about because he warned the industry in 2000.
Yeah,
right here in Vegas at the Expo, he said these guys cannot have more than 20% of the national handle. They will begin to destroy all the value out of the game. And that was ignored, and now it's 25 years later, and they've got probably 37% of the handle.
That's about the right number.
That's a good number.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And how do you put that genie, back in the bottle, or cut the genie's arm, one of the arms off?
I like that idea. Sorry, but I like that idea.
Chick Matisse, Duke Matisse, Rick Hammerly, Steve Bick, and Paul Matisse. What a pleasure it is to have, as I've told you guys for years, going back, I think, to the first conversations we ever had. When I was learning the game, and especially when I started coming to Saratoga, there was a mysticism about the Matisses. There was some cosmic force that influenced racing, and it was Matisse. And look at it.
You have to have fun.
There is fun.
That's
fun as
you gotta have fun in this game. One way or another.
That's right. That's what it's about. It's
right,
fun.
it is.
Yep.
Come on. I mean, you see, there's a lot of people walking around San Diego with their faces down, but there's a few that aren't. And
when you're winning or losing, that's the nature of the game. To for our family and for our friends and the people that we hang around with.
It's contagious.
Yeah,
you can see it.
Well.
I mean, we have such a good group of guys too. I mean, we hang around with, and it just makes it even better.
Right.
We're all pretty much in good mood most of the time.
Right.
Maybe I'm not sometimes.
I used to get the phone calls.
Since you're both here, and because I'm sure there's listeners and viewers that have never heard the story, you got to tell the story of basically getting tapped out and down to $1.
It's not my story. That's Paul's story. That was my two older brothers.
But on the way home from the Meadowlands?
The soda.
Yeah. Well, we spent the whole day at the Meadowlands, day and night, and we went broke. And we had $1 for the toll. We scrounged up 50 or 60 cents and we were starving because we hadn't eaten anything on the way home. So we talked it over. It was analyzing like a race what we were going to get. We decided we were going to split a soda with our money. This is how bad we were going. Figured that could make it to get us home. And we put this is after losing all day, about 50 losers. We put the 50 cents or whatever it was, 75 cents in the machine, and the soda came out and it was a dud. There was no soda in it at all. We couldn't even pick a winner out of the soda machine.
An empty can.
And my brother was so mad from the races and everything. He took it and he punted it right across the rest area.
That's one of my favorite.
You talk about feeling like a loser.
I knew you limped home.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We've got to.
I'm not gonna tell the story now, but I'm gonna tell a story something like that tonight when I get my award. So you can look forward to that.
Well, and that's the follow-up question, which is, the two of you are joining the Shermans as Hall of Famer brothers. Duke, first of all, what does it mean to you? And you're as familiar. The three of you are as familiar as any players on this scene. You've been involved since the origin of contest play, and tonight has got to be a special honor.
It is. I remember the day that I found this contest because I was walking through this casino, and I was going to play House Quinellos with John Avello here because he was running the race book here. And
as Bally's.
And it was Bally's back then.
Right.
So when I get to the race book's closed. I go, why is the race book closed? It says private event. So I said, what's the event? They said NHC. I go, what's the NHC? And as I always do, I called Paul. I go, Paul, what the hell is the NHC? And he had no idea himself. So
that's amazing.
How long ago was that?
This was in 2003 or 2004.
Right at the beginning.
And I was they had been
couple years.
they've been going
25. This is 25.
I think it was the first year here at Bally's.
That could
be.
The
First year was at Bally's.
It was at MGM before that.
Right.
And I called him. I said, these people are screaming for horses. I said, it says 100,000 first prize. I said, why aren't we in this?
You saw us.
Right?
And then the rest is history.
Duke's
I've
made it
been
every
ever
year since.
since.
He's made every year since.
Every year since.
Except for COVID, but I didn't play anything COVID year. But
well, and you
every
drove.
year
You drove your
amazing.
COVID year.
No, I did not.
What year did you drive?
That was a different year, but I didn't drive COVID year. I didn't come on COVID year either. I didn't come.
We didn't. Neither one of us did.
Yeah.
But he drove to Lone Star a few years ago.
Oh, I drove to Lone Star for the one contest. That was during COVID.
In the family truckster.
Yeah.
That must have been like vacation, right?
Yeah, we just had to get out of New York. We didn't need any excuse to get out of New York. But Duke is going to end up he's going to end up having the most points in the history of the NHC because he's. I mean, the Shermans are great and they're first and second, but eventually Duke's going to get him. You know,
well, hopefully
he's got an age edge on the rest of us. He's going to
not that much.
Not if he picks the way he did this year.
Yeah, for sure.
He's going to stretch it out.
For sure. I'll be the first to say I didn't pick too well.
So he really deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure I actually deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but Duke really deserves it.
Well, this will be a rollicking speech tonight.
I don't know if it's going to be rollicking. I'm just going to, tell a story and thank the people that need to be thanked, and it's a great honor. It's tremendous. I love this tournament. I think it's something you just until you're here, you have no idea what it's like.
And this is Paul for Hammer's first time. I wanted you to. I've been telling you. How long have I been telling you got to come?
Long enough. But I'm thinking, what do I want to come here and watch a bunch of people gamble? I mean, if I'm not in it.
You want to gamble, right?
Now he wants to. Now he wants to.
I want to be at table 128 next year.
Exactly.
No, excuse me. Where'd the palm tree go? I wanted to be with the palm tree guy. But no, this is fantastic. And anybody that hasn't been here, even if you're not in it, I think you would get it. I mean, I get goosebumps coming down the lane, watching people, doing a high five. It's fantastic. And just a camaraderie that I've seen. I've said it over and over and over, but everyone, you can walk up to anybody and start talking to them.
Pretty much, yeah. We've met so many people through this tournament, and I've had so many people come up to me. It's been great, actually. I've had people that I have no idea who they are that have come up to me and say congratulations, and it's tremendous.
Tell them to come over here.
Watch yourself over there.
Be careful here.
I don't want to touch you. Mike Gillum. Mike, come stand here.
Can't get next to myself.
This is some story. Mike Gillum joins us, who started the day. I've been saying 63rd. It was worse than that. You were 64th.
64th, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
A little closer on the mic. There you go.
Yeah, it was a tight bunch, and I knew that it was just few picks off. So you just got to stay to the stages picking winners and just try to pick winners and just keep adding, and so that's what I did. I've done that since day one. Just came in and pretty much did a pick and pray, and I just bet out on Friday. Every last pick, I just bet out, and then on Saturday, I bet out. And if I had to go back and change one, you can. And I had one scratch, so I went back and changed that one. And then today, I did pretty much a pick and pray till the final table, and everything just happened to land as I needed it. And it was something. So if I would have, so I kind of at the last second got to the final table, right? I forgot to turn all my mandatories in for the silver tournament. I'd be in first place, so now I'm out of it. I lost out on a.
That's okay.
I lost out on a chance to come back next year, and plus some prize money. But I'm not even worried about that. I really effed up on that one.
You're going for the gold tournament.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Out of Indianapolis.
Yes.
Outstanding. And so Eric Hallstrom is more nervous than you are.
Great guy. Oh, he's awesome.
And you qualified at Horse
I
Racing.
sure did. 2 years in a row there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
How long have you played contests overall?
Oh, I've been playing online, for 8 or 10 years, and I qualified first in 19, at Shelbyville. So I've qualified 3 times in Shelbyville. So 19 and last year and this year. Last year I cashed, and this year I think I'm going to cash, hopefully. So,
Yeah, I think you're going to cash. You're leading by $1 and change, or actually $1.22.
You gotta
talk about your decision to take the favorite in the last.
Oh, I said to myself, I'm playing what I had picked regardless until the very last race. I mean, as long as I'm within striking, and I was within striking. I don't care if that 11 horse wouldn't have got there. I still would have been happy to even get in $1 behind and just hoping for a place price on the next one. But it just kind of worked out. So kind of fortunate. So happy.
It's unbelievable. Are you here with anybody? Did you bring?
I came by myself. My wife and family's all at home watching. My buddy Mark Myrick and Leo and Buck and all my guys here. So I sat with Buck last year and Leo all 3 years. They're my buddies.
Leo's my man.
Leo's your man, huh? Yeah, I just happened to get Leo.
He's on the phone.
He's got his earbuds in. Leo.
I hear he came alive. He said, "Don't forget the bet."
Oh, my God.
I'm in.
We got about 7 minutes. He's already got his ticket in.
I'm in.
7 minutes to post here. 3-2 favoritism on Departure, the Steve Knapp horse. In here, Zimba Warrior, a logical alternative. I don't know if we should really ask you what you're doing.
No. Don't even go there.
It's a no-brainer.
Don't even go there.
Not at all.
It's a no-brainer. I know what I'm doing. So, and I think you could all figure out what I'm doing. So, I don't know. Maybe not. But just the way I've been doing the whole tournament.
Don't stop now.
I had my pick this morning for this race, and I'm not changing it. And it's the logical pick, I would think, without saying it. I can tell you, I don't care.
No, do not.
All right.
No,
But,
save it.
Say it, please.
Anyway.
Definitely do not.
Anyway, so just hope to get one more home.
Hey, well, that's all you got to do.
Good.
And
I love it.
Mike.
Thank you. Last night I saw you at Nobu. That was me who said, "Hey, Duke,
my
that was me." That was me. I said, "Hey, Duke, congratulations on the Hall of Fame."
No, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you remember that?
Yes, of course.
You were with your family,
Yeah.
kids, or
Yeah, you were
daughters,
sitting
or
there
whatever.
in the seat,
I was
yeah.
sitting with Mark.
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, Duke, congratulations, buddy."
Thank you so
that
much.
was me.
Yeah,
Anyway.
well, I hope I'm rooting for you, man.
Thank you.
Only one more to go.
Hopefully, I'm on stage with you tonight because you'll be there on stage getting the
right.
Yes,
Hall
I
of
will.
Fame award. So congratulations to you.
That is right. Mike Gillum, what's your handicapping method?
I look for how the race sets up. I'm a big pace guy. I look at the pace. I see how it sets up. There's a million different angles. Trainer intent, all of that. I look at DRF formulator. I don't do a whole lot. I've tried them all, and all the other stuff, but I'm just stuck with what I do. I have a laptop. I don't have to get a form anymore since COVID. So I do it online, and I just it's great. I mean, it works for me. So anyway,
How long you been playing?
my whole life. My dad and Grandpa and Uncle Junior and they all did horses growing up, and my Uncle Junior was a big player. My Uncle Mike owned horses, and my dad played every day and all of that. So just, got brought up, going to Churchill and River Downs and all that.
Did you grow up in Indy or closer to Cincy? Indy.
Mm-hmm. Indy, yeah.
Unbelievable. Outstanding.
And then once, gambling came to Indiana, I started going to Shelbyville or whatever, so.
And Hoosier,
right.
the Hoosier Park and
Yeah.
the flip-flopping.
Yep.
Mike, no matter what happens here in 5 minutes, this has been some impressive performance.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Really
I appreciate it.
well done. And I don't want to take every question because I could be talking to you again in 15
Yeah,
minutes.
hopefully.
All right?
Hopefully I'll talk to you soon.
Very good. Mike
Thank you very
Gillum,
much.
everybody.
Thank you very much.
What do you do?
Good luck, Mike.
I sell produce. I have a produce company
That's
in
fabulous.
in Indianapolis.
Outstanding.
Great job.
Unbelievable.
Tremendous.
Get the cabbage in here.
Hey.
Oh. Hey.
Unbelievable.
You're good.
Well,
You're good.
That's all we need, right?
Yeah. Whoa.
Well, that was a treat. Thank you, whoever who produced. I didn't realize he was hanging
all
with
day.
our man Leo.
I didn't either.
I didn't know he was Leo's buddy.
That's because Leo's been.
He came up to me last night in Noble and said he's one of the ones. I didn't know who he was, and now I do.
Well, we got to find out. I got to find out.
He's having a
next
he's,
round.
He's
is how
getting
he
ready.
knows
He's
where he
getting ready.
met Leo.
I know. It's interesting that he knows Leo.
You're listening.
Probably from here. Oh, here he comes. Here comes Leo.
Well, and now another
Voot
treat.
Man.
One of the greats. 3 minutes to post. Let's give you
Gotta
a
be
quick
one of the
rundown.
Leo is one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Leo's nice every time you see him.
I know. He's not like me.
Or me. Or any of us.
Yeah, come around the
Come
back.
around. It's safer.
Do you want to go? Do you want to go here?
No, he can
Sharp
walk.
as attack
maybe
is your 8-5
No,
favorite, the
Leo.
3.
Okay.
It's okay.
And 5-2 on Zaffarelli, the Jeff Mullins rail horse. McKinnon is 8-1. My numero uno, 11-1, Patty Gallagher. Nabokov, 9-1, the 5 from Ed Mosier. Escape Route, Mark Glatt, 8-1, the 7. Lincoln Hawk, Librato Bracasio with Dettori, 8-1. And Time to Party, George Papapadromo with Kaz Kimura, 16-1. Leo, you've influenced another potential champion.
I don't have nothing to do with this. I sat with Mike in 2019 at the Treasure Island, and then last year, by a fluke, like we sat together. I sat with Florine, and Mike was at our table, and Frank Scatoni came early, and he got the markers to sit at the table. And just by accident, Mike ended up at the same table. Could you believe that? And then and Buck, who's here. So we just got together again this year and sat again. So I sat with Mike for 3 years, and I sat with him here. And what one hell of a run that he's had.
This is one of the most amazing runs ever.
One of the things is you need luck for this to happen, and I'm just sitting here just watching. Whatever he picks is going to win. So that's just kind of like the way when you have luck going your way, and you have confidence going your way.
He said
I just want to see him win right now. That's all I want to see right now.
Very good.
He's one hell of a guy. He's a really good guy. When he qualified, I qualified and I texted him. It was kind of similar to Jose. He qualified in Indianapolis on February 3rd of this year.
Weeks ago.
That's amazing.
So he just got in at the last minute.
Duke, give us a play in here.
And he just barely made the cut.
I think the two favorites are going to be very difficult to beat in this race.
By noses.
I took the 9 horse for a long shot.
And then I was looking and
Time to party.
Time to Party. I took as my
$35 away.
Long shot. He's going to be coming from way behind.
To get to the final table. And he got to the final table, and then I said, wow, you're like $35 away or so from getting the lead. And he got to the lead, and he had a horse at Oaklawn, the one that broke bad, got left, and here he comes on the outside. Boom, and then every horse he bet, you just watched like magic. It was unbelievable. I'm just telling you, it's like you couldn't write the script right here.
No,
right?
It's
couldn't
as
write
unlike
the script.
Here we go. We've got a couple to load, and
let's see what happens here. I'm just wishing for the best for him. That's all.
Well, unless a price comes rolling in, it does feel like it'll come down to Mike Gillum and Seth Morris, separated by $1.22.
We'll see if they take different horses here. That's the first thing.
That's the other thing, exactly. And so here we go.
They're off. It was a clean start. Escape Route is going out to battle for the early lead, but there's a wall of about 6 battling for command.
They do have different horses.
That's good. Zaffarelli through on the inside.
Gillum took the favorites.
Sharp as Attack is in
And
second.
Lincoln Hawk,
Followed
yeah,
by
no one
Lincoln
took the
Hawk
one.
in third.
No
They're
one took the
followed
one.
at the
It was
rail
crazy.
by McKinnon
Here we
in
go.
line numero uno between horses. Escape Route, who broke well, is 5 lengths off the lead. At the back of the field, Time to Party and Lincoln Hawk inside of him. It's a compact group. The favorites 1-2 into the far turn. It's Zaffarelli, the leader, by a length, tracked by Sharp as Attack in second. McKinnon 2 off the pace in third. And then on the inside, Escape Route has 5 lengths to make up. Lincoln Hawk is making some headway now, angling to the outside as they come to the 8th pole. Zaffarelli confronted by Sharp as Attack. Sharp as Attack has collared him at the 16th pole and starts to edge away. McKinnon diving through late, but it's Sharp as Attack in front, and Sharp as Attack has won it. McKinnon finished second. Zaffarelli third in front of Lincoln Hawk and Time to Party. Congratulations to the winner of the NTRA National Handicapping Championship, $800,000 and an Eclipse Award.
Wow.
Leo, you said whoever he picks is going to win.
Couldn't happen to a better guy. And it's a storybook ending for Mike. Couldn't happen to a better person. There was 2 races left, and I just said to myself, whoever he picks, they're going to win. And just pick the 2 winners. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Pick the 2 winners, and that's what he did.
I mean, look
incredible run.
Finished up with 2 8-5 shots, right? And held off.
And nobody else had McKinnon a 9-1 shot.
There will be no movement.
There will be no movement underneath. The way we're looking at it is the way it ends. And that is with Mike Gillum, your $800,000 first prize. We had a preview of our conversation. A tremendous couple of days from Seth Morris. He finishes second for $250,000. Matt Blanchett third, $200,000. Lawrence Calden fourth, $150,000. $125,000 to Dan Kaplan. Both Calden and Kaplan are Thorograph users. Rob Henney made a nice run, $85,000, etc. Here we go.
Just pick winner, and that's what I tried to do, and out. So,
and once you got to the final table, still a little ground to make up. Did you just keep a similar strategy?
it was the exact same strategy. Just pick winner, pick a winner, pick a winner, keep adding, and try to get to the last race and have a shot. And so I just happened to be on top. So.
What about the strategy going into the last 2 races? You were just behind with 2 races to go. You picked the favorite, which got you in front. You picked the favorite again. What was that handicapping? Was that handicapping the horses, handicapping the players behind you?
My picks did not change since 6 o'clock this morning. I played exactly what I wanted to play the whole entire day without changing one pick, and I got lucky. It was just my day today. I just got lucky.
Well, you are now officially the winner of NHC 2024. We're going to have Tom Rooney present you with your Eclipse Award. Presenting the Eclipse Award for Horse Player of the Year, Tom Rooney, to NHC champ Mike Gillum. And we are now going to present you with your first place check, valued at $800,000. Tom Rooney makes that presentation as well. To be joined by the ladies from RTN, the RTN Jockeys Racetrack Television Network, and Tom Rooney present an $800,000 check to NHC champion Mike Gillum. One last round of applause. Mike Gillum started the day in 64th place. Ends of the day, numero uno, $800,000. We'll celebrate him, the rest of the top 10 finishers tonight at the awards dinner at 5:30.
Well, we're back here, and you had a preview.
Congratulations again to everyone.
Here's
Top 10 finishers, every single one of the 765 entries that participated in this year's NHC. This room will stay open for live money wagering until the 5 o'clock cocktail hour, 5:30 dinner reception. We'll see you all then.
I think what we need to do is save that microphone and bring it back next year, because that black mic gave out a lot of winners. A lot of people on that mic had a good day.
You're not wrong, actually. Right? Absolutely. This is the first time we've ever had the winner in such proximity to him. Finishing.
How cool is he? He's going to come over. He's going to tell us who he picked. Even he had so much confidence he had.
He did.
And Duke, he was floored that basically he did a pick and pray on the last day. He said it again up there. He never changed a pick that he had. So, I mean, congratulations, right? I mean, it's incredible. 63rd,
64th.
Started the day in 64th. And wins.
For him to come from that far back, it's just unheard of. It just is not. It just hasn't happened. Here's Keith bringing us the Eclipse Award. There we go. Outstanding.
And there's Mike's award right there.
Keith, and I'm also reaching out. I want to reach out to Seth Morris, who is I mean, to play the way he did and to just fall short, I would like him to come and spend a couple of minutes, because we didn't get a chance yesterday. So let me send him that note.
Keith Chamlin, the architect of this event, a complete success.
Have nobody's come from this far back right?
We'll have to check the record books, but I don't believe anybody's ever come from that far back on the last day since we went to this format. Just an amazing job of handicapping by Mike. Great champion, great final table, $550,000 and an Eclipse Award, and comes down to $1.22. It might have been penny break each at Turfway Park.
Absolutely.
Who got them done, I mean, it's just an incredible day, great event. I think the Silver Sunday contest accomplished our goal, which was to keep all participants engaged through the entire third day and into and through the final table. And if you look around this room, I think it did its job. So we're thrilled, and just a great event. Best one ever. Got to give a lot of credit to our staff at the NTRA.
Got to ask, I have not seen a leaderboard just for the Silver Sunday. Is it up?
It's online. If you scroll, we'll get it for you online. David Harrison had a pretty healthy lead. Past champion.
Last year, 2 years ago,
So if you go down...
I didn't see that. I never saw that little red bar.
And if your job was to keep people here, look at the room.
Yeah, it worked.
Atmosphere was great.
David Harrison wins the Silver Sunday.
It's amazing. Yeah, he had a great. He had that horse that ran second a couple of races ago.
7.
Yes, and talked to him briefly, and just a great job by him, and terrific job by this man over here. What a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Seth Morris, a tremendous performance. It took literally an all-time miraculous run from Mike Gillum to beat you, but you got to be delighted with your performance.
I mean, I'm super pleased. Obviously, I'm incredibly happy with the prize amount. It's tough getting nosed out in the second to last race and, having a couple of favorites beat you. But honestly, I didn't like the horses. I had a feeling he was going to use the 11 in the penultimate race. And I said, I don't like him. I used the 10. I was wrong. So I was pretty happy with the way I handicapped and played it all throughout the weekend. And, if I had to, not bitch and moan about anything. It would have been one of the races. I thought I had a live horse, got really roughed up on the first turn, ended up sitting in second in 22 and 1. I said, he's done. But other than that, Mike had an incredible run. Everybody here, that is Mike that won, right? Yeah. Yeah, Mike had an incredible run. Just talking to the handicappers here and seeing the names on the leaderboards, incredible professionals year in and year out. So I'm happy to be here. Really pumped with my performance. I let it all out. I used my horses. So a few years ago, I let a couple go, didn't use them. That felt bad. I took my swing.
Got a BCBC seat out of yesterday.
Totally pumped about that. Love Del Mar. Can't wait to get out there. That's my, one of my favorite things in the world.
And a cool 250.
And a cool $250,000. Doesn't hurt. I mean, I'm super excited. I just got into full-time bloodstock last year too, so it's really just a great opportunity to meet a ton of people and publicize, get the publicity associated with this too, even though I got nipped for second,
Well,
and
talk mention the partnership.
Sure.
Steve, I'm going to hand the mic off to our champ.
I mean, historically, I've always been involved with John and Tanya Terranova, and since 2011, I was working with Stephen Mack and Matt Sidman on Long Lake Stables.
Sure.
And we've kind of slowed down over the last couple of years, and I said, you know what, it's really time. I was working for Mack Real Estate Group, Stephen's brother. I said, it's time for me to do full-time bloodstock. So as of, last summer, pinhooked 12 horses, brought a few over to OBS, and we had a successful sale, which was great. And I was just at OBS and picked up a couple of 2-year-olds, including Uncle Mo out of Social Call filly. So the full actually beat me today with the 4 in the first mandatory. So I actually hedged myself. I ran second, but I had myself hedged because I own the full. I bought the most expensive horse I've ever bought, a $600,000 filly for a new group called Hit the Bid Stables. So I'm super excited. We're going to be back swinging away in March. The horses are going to be going to John and Tanya Terranova. I think they're my good friends, and they're good trainers, and I can't wait to get some, really good stock in their barn, because I think we're going to explode.
Seth Morris, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Seth, there's nothing left to do but smile, smile, smile.
I said nothing beats a Sunday show. I listened to Samson and Delilah to start and hit that first race.
I was wondering. Now you mentioned the Terranovas.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're here. Are you going to the Sphere?
Mike, congratulations.
Steve, pleasure meeting you. Will I see you at the Sphere?
June 15th, I'll be at the Sphere that weekend.
I might have an extra ticket opening night. I may. Let me know. It's March, May 16th.
Awesome.
Great. Carry on.
Well, here we are again. Minutes ago, of course, those of you who've been watching, we welcome back Mike Gillum, and I don't want to say it became a foregone conclusion, but Leo joined us, and he said whoever Mike picked is going to win, and
he did.
That's just the
I
way
love
it's
Leo.
going to be.
Leo, my man.
Well, you feel much different than you did 8 minutes ago?
I'm still. I just need to pinch myself. Am I dreaming? Is this really happening? Or am I getting ready to wake up? I don't know. I'm just kind of. I don't know if this is really happening. Is it really happening?
It's happening.
Okay.
It's done.
Wow.
It's over. You've won.
OMG. Thank you. Oh my God. I'm lost for words. I'm so excited. The money will do wonders for me to get straightened out in my life. I mean, I have a good business and all, but it will surely help and all. But I'm just so thankful.
Did you get the phone call from home yet?
They've been following along, and my mom and my wife and my 2 daughters and my granddaughter, all of them are watching you guys online right now. They're all watching you guys. They're sending me pictures of you guys and stuff, so they're following along.
That's just fantastic. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And when you threw in the Leo story at the end, that just capped it off.
So Leo said what?
Well, he explained to us how you've just, by happenstance, you've been seated with him year after year.
Yeah.
And you could not have, as sort of a rock to lean on, and somebody to emulate and be around. You couldn't do better.
Leo is like the mayor of California and Santa Anita. Everybody who walks by stops and kisses the ring. They stop and sit in the seat and kisses the ring. He's like a mayor. Yeah. He's the big dog.
I'm gonna have to name a race after him one day.
Well, Not too soon,
Right?
I hope.
Yeah, no. Right,
not
exactly.
quite yet.
No,
I know.
Yeah,
don't worry about it. I never worry about
well,
that
you're
stuff.
You're the first racing secretary that named
You
one
even said
after.
do it when they're alive, right?
yeah,
Instead of when they're right.
exactly.
I've heard you say it. I listen to you
100%.
all the time on Big. Every day. I don't miss Big.
Yeah.
I don't miss Big.
You know what? It's guys
and
like
I've gotten so much info from you and your listeners. It is you just can't imagine.
thank you.
And I'm a big follower and fan and listener. So I thank you. I thank you because it's sure helped develop me as a horse player. So thank you so much.
You know we got to do for him now. We got to get a sandwich named after you at Shapiro's.
Shapiro's. We could do that.
Shapiro's. My mom loves Shapiro's.
I thought you were going to say have a shot at tequila or something. But now Duke was very impressed that your method of the last day that you just said, here's my picks, let's rock.
Really, the Hall of Famer?
Well, that you didn't alter. You just win, and as Leo said, whatever you're picking at the end of the day, let's go with it. And he was right.
Yeah.
Look, we got a sponsor over here.
For Rachel McLaughlin and everybody at Horseshoe, I mean, this is really, it's pretty special for Caesars, to have a Horseshoe Indianapolis-based winner come here. I mean, that's a sidebar story as well.
Race and Rachel.
My phone just blew up. I was in the other room, and everybody's like, you have to go get special stuff with him. We have to celebrate that he qualified here. Joe called me. Eric called me. They said to say congratulations.
Is that Oh, well, tell them thank you so much.
Which date did you go to? I don't know if you guys have already talked about this.
I did. I went to both. I didn't qualify on the first one. My buddy Mark did. I went to the second one in February 3rd. I qualified in that one.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for you. I'll interview you when you're done with Bic, but I'll let you finish.
All right. Thanks, Rachel.
Well, and Leo said February 3rd, and so basically it's been this whirlwind month that propels you. And we've discussed this, that players that come out of the last chance, first chance, they qualify in, they have momentum, they've got confidence. This though, I mean, to come from where you came, this will frankly be an inspiration, for players that are going into Saturday that are, well down, for them to even get to 64th, and then let alone turning around and then winning everything with this incredible run in the semifinals and at the final time.
Where were you open? Where were you after the first day?
First day, I was 5th. Okay, so get this.
I told you.
Here's two things.
Okay.
Did I tell you that I didn't fill my picks out for that? Yeah, I told you that. So I screwed up the. I would have won the silver Sunday tournament, but I didn't do my mandatories because I was so excited about qualifying. So I forgot to turn my mandatories in. I would have won the silver attorney, but anyway, I
jumped.
Whatever. But. What was your question?
First day.
Oh, first day. I was 5th.
I remember.
Okay.
And I was 5th. And then with 2 races to go, I was in 81st spot looking out. I was outside. I'm like, how can you have such a good day on day one and then not qualify? The pressure was on. And I had 2 picks left, and I picked 4 to 5 and a 3 to 2 to barely get in. And I passed about 12 or 15 people to get in, the last 2, so I barely snuck in. So I had a terrible Saturday. I had a good Friday, terrible Saturday, and a real good Sunday.
So here you used 2 favorites to get in to the cut, and now you ended today with 2 8-5 shots to win the tournament.
Close it out.
And to make it to the final table, I use a couple as well to make it to the final table, a couple favorites, and so
nibble away,
just
right?
nibble away.
Everybody else
That's
was
all I
swinging
did.
for the fences.
You wouldn't believe it if you saw my plays. There, I had 3 to 5s, 4 to 5s, 6 to 5s, number of them. I mean, I hit a 18-1 and a 13-1 and all, but I bet several. Not several. I bet 1 3 to 5 and like 3 4 to 5s. A few 6 to 5. You just keep adding to your total.
Sure.
That was my philosophy. Just keep adding. So.
Well, you've added 800,000 to your total.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Mike.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So
thanks.
We couldn't be happier.
Thank you so much.
Believe me. It's fantastic.
I love it.
And you sent a shot into the bombers that are that you can only play 20-1 shots here.
No.
Here you chipped away and look what you got. And you picked. Don't forget that thing right there.
Oh, is that mine?
That is yours.
It's a Eclipse Award. You'll get
the real one.
You'll come down to Palm Beach.
You can rub its January. You can rub its belly a little bit.
I don't get that today though. That's.
You need.
No.
Well, look, a lot of head shaking out there.
Eclipse Award. That's going on my mantle with the others.
It is. They got to put your name on there.
Oh my. January.
Breakers. At the Breakers.
With
in January.
else.
Amy, did you hear that? Amy, did you hear that? We're going to Gulfstream. Actually, it's the
Breakers in Palm
Beach. It's the Breakers in Palm Beach. I got to get a tux, and you got to get a dress.
You can buy one now. You don't have to rent one.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Mike Gillum, your 2024 Silver Anniversary NHC champion out of Indianapolis, out of Horseshoe Indianapolis to Horseshoe Vegas. Well done.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Success.
Thank you.
There it is. Mike Gillum, everybody. Unbelievable. And Hammer.
It is unbelievable.
What a fabulous story. There's so many parts of this. There's lots to digest, and we'll talk to Mike during the week as well, probably Wednesday from when I'm in New Orleans. But I really hope that folks listened or at least watched today and got a sense for just how much fun this is. How one of the things about contest play that has really become important. There's a lot of players who are frustrated with the state of the game. And certain things, whether it's takeout and whether it's the CAW money, this is an avenue for you to be reinvigorate your passion for the game. And a lot of players that have that have come back to the game after time away, they've found it refreshing to get involved in this, because as you can tell, so many people are just take so much pleasure in this, and as we do, doing what bringing it to you.
This is on our side of the sport. This is why we're here, to see the excitement. I mean, I love this game, and I've loved it for 40 years. And you know what? I still want to be sitting at table 128 next year. This is this is fantastic.
Instead of 21 hours of broadcast coverage?
I'll go back and forth. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Can you come help me out for a little radio? He says. But it's been great.
I warned you. I've been trying to get you here.
I'm so glad that I came, and everyone has just been wonderful. So, I mean, come to Vegas, go anywhere, go to a track near you, play in a tournament,
play online.
There's
free qualifiers,
and you don't have to come to the big one here. You can go to your local track and play and get the same camaraderie as here. So, go racing, go baby, go.
Want to thank everybody. First of all, Casey back in Florida producing, and literally checked himself out of a hospital to do it, and I can't thank Casey enough. Got to thank, obviously, Keith Shamblin, Tom Rooney, Michelle Ravencraft, Holly Short, all the team that does this. You can't believe how hard they work. Then, of course, all the sponsors that are involved, Horseshoe, Las Vegas, Caesars, and Caesars Racebook. Equine Edge, how did we go the whole show, the whole 3 days? We didn't see Scotty McKeever. Maybe we'll catch up with Scotty this week. RTN, Racetrack Television Network. Crown's Way, who you heard from Tony when we were in Ocala. Crown's Way, the Daily Racing Forum, and also Equibase Race Lens, the official partners. Rich Ang, you disappeared. He went off to hang around with his.
Let's get a quick thank you to Rich and to the Horseshoe Hotel here. They've been great.
Horseshoe Las Vegas.
I'm sorry, I was MIA. I apologize, but when I saw Duke sitting here in my seat, I said, "If you got Duke, you don't need me."
That's not true. It's not the weekend at the NHC without Rich Ang, the author of Betting on Horse Racing for Dummies. Of course, Rich, final thoughts?
It was a phenomenal tournament. To have the final come down to, a couple of fellas just nickels apart, and then the day by Gillum was just unbelievable. To come from 64th to win the championship. When you think about his plays over the course of today, what was it, like 17 plays or something like that, but he just picked he was just grinding.
Just pick that.
Winners.
Just grinding.
Pick all winners.
That is so hard to do, and he kept concentrating. Great job. Great job by Mr. Gillum.
Thanks to Rich Ang, thanks to Rick Hammerly, thanks to all of you that listened and watched from Horseshoe Vegas, the silver edition of the National Horseplayers Championship. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you from this ballroom tomorrow, Sirius XM at the races, 9 a.m. Look forward to it. Talk to you soon.
See you at the race.
Thoroughbred Racing is taking vital steps to make our sport safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
Turn your love of racing into savings with equine discounts through the NTRA. Purchase through equine discounts and receive great savings on well-known brands like John Deere, Sherwin-Williams, Big Ass Fans, Farmers Insurance, and Office Depot. Join thousands of other equine members and support companies that give back to the sport we all love. Call 866-678-4289 or visit equinediscounts.com to start saving today.
You just have to get in the seat of a John Deere Gator XUV 835M. Not because of the spacious cargo box.
We're always picking up rocks out in the field, and the hydraulic bed has been really nice.
Or because it can tackle any terrain.
It can handle anything.
Not even because it tows up to 4,000 pounds.
We can pull things around easily.
You just have to get in the seat because something about being this productive just makes you smile.
It's made life a lot easier.
Learn more at johndeere.com/getintheseat.
Get him all, baby! Open him up!